Scared to the point of being unable to walk, too. Now it was Di Xiaowan's turn to speak, as if my sister-in-law would need to fight with others when she already has such an outstanding man like my brother. Let me guess, you are another shameless animal trying to seduce her, aren't you? Bai Yan immediately shot a questioning gaze at the demon princess. Did you just indirectly accuse your brother as a shameless animal? Well, that is definitely what I just said, but I'm not admitting it. Bai Yan smiled and nodded. Indeed, your brother is not a shameless animal, he's a shameless, cunning and insidious fox. Now Di Xiaowan was ready to cry. She knows it's just a matter of time before the word gets out if Bai Yan would go this far. Glaring now at the cause of her mistake, damn bastard, if it weren't for you then I wouldn't have bashed on my brother. Tell me where that bitch of sister of yours is this instant. Shuddering at the order, Yi Ming's first instinct was to flee. Sadly for him though, Chu Yi had moved ahead and blocked off his path. Want to run? You bullied Bai Yan first, and now claim to be my fiancé. If I let you go now then how am I supposed to show my face again in public? Smiling dangerously, the little princess of the Holy Land cracks her knuckles in preparation. Sister Yi. Wiping his sloppy mouth with a rub of his sleeve, Bai Xiaoqian softly calls out, this big baddie is the worse. He actually wanted mother to service him earlier and rationed she could only be his concubine. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. The effects were instantaneous. From multiple directions, 3 powerful gazes were pinning Yi Ming's body like blades flying out of them sheaths. It's so suffocating that the man couldn't even move at this point. Xiaoyun, Xiaowan, should we neuter this bastard right now? Sure enough, Chu Yi was the first to take action by actually drawing her blade out to the man's neck for Raol. Neuter him? Di Xiaowan huffs a snort, that would just dirty our hands with his filthiness. Just wait until we leave next time. Along the way is the demon forest. Just toss the bastard into the forest and the demon beasts would take care of him just fine. Xiaowan is right in her reasoning. Lan Xiaoyun, cousin, gives a serious nod. Besides, we still need him to lead us to that sister of his. What's the name again? Oh yeah, it's Yi Ying. I will show her what it means to connive after my cousin-in-law. All right. In a blink of an eye, what used to be a lively yard was now empty and quiet. Mother, does Auntie and them not like me anymore? Why are they not taking me along when they're looking for that bad woman? All grieving in his cute little face, Bai Xiaoqian asks in earnest. Bai Yan calmly replies, you can go and see too. With your Auntie Xiaoyun there, I'm not afraid of the other 2 making too much trouble. Among the 3 troublemakers that came today, only Lan Xiaoyun was a bit normal. As for the remaining 2, one's a well-known witch of the Holy Land, and the other's a sweet dumbaklutz. If Bai Yan had to rely on anyone to keep things from going overboard, it would be her cousin. Really? The baby boy's eyes lit up over the permission to go. Come little rice, we can see the show too. I love you mother. Scared to the point of being unable to walk, 3, without giving his feline friend a chance to say anything there, the baby boy's hand has already yanked that tail into a gripping hold. Together, 1 tiger and 1 boy, they disappeared like the gusting wind in pursuit of the 3 ladies. Meanwhile in the background still, Wen Ru was putting on a weeping face the entire way. He's pained by the Dan pills that's been left scattered on the floor due to Bai Xiaoqian's outburst just now. What a spendthrift, a spendthrift. Why can't they be given to me instead? What's the matter? Noticing the oddity, Bai Yan's first glimpse of the grievance in her subordinate's mood was the fact that he was sorrowfully picking up the leftovers from the ground like a beggar. In light of the question, Wen Ru didn't answer like he usually does in an upbeat attitude. Instead, the young man only staggered back to his room and shut the door like a dispirited ghost. Now that's left the woman all confused and clueless. Since Bai Yan herself didn't know what's going on, she has decided to ignore it out of consideration for the boy's past action. There's just too many oddballs constantly running around in her life, so another Wen Ru here makes hardly any difference. The Elder Assembly Hall, one of the most important places within the medicine sect. I don't know what happened, but Zhangpeng suddenly called over half of us away something. Now he's not paying any attention to the alchemy convention, says a red-robed elder inside the chamber hall. Yeah, this convention is usually hosted by the young master. Now that he's gone, everything is falling into CEO Wang's hands and it's becoming a mess, especially how he tried to expel the disciple from the Holy Land at the persuasion of that Ying. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. These elders were all getting a throbbing migraine over the recent events of the past 2 days. They want the real lord or young lord to step in, or the very least to give them permission to interfere. As things stand now, they are helpless. Everyone, this is indeed our fault. If the time comes that the Holy Land does come seeking answers, we are going to have to endure the consequences. I heard that the position of the disciple is not high, so the Holy Land wouldn't really come make trouble because of someone like that, right? Damn it, if things do go that way, then it's just going to benefit that misty fairy house. While these elders were negotiating on how to deal with the aftermath, a man dressed in protective gear had suddenly barged into their meeting. Based on how agitated and flustered the person was, it's obvious he did so in the heat of the moment after running all the way. Who allowed you to come in? A yellow-robed elder roared, slamming his fist against the table. Crumbling to the floor at the yell, the person stutters profusely, "Elders, we are in trouble. The Holy Lands, which is here." What? The witch is coming. Why did she come here? Is it because she found out about us bullying her sex disciple? This witch have always been short-tempered and is definitely going to raise a storm. It shouldn't be. The news couldn't have spread so fast, but letting her know about it will definitely cause an uproar. Damn that Yi Ying. If this matter is really related to her, then I won't let her off the hook. The yellow-robed elder was blistering red due to the anger in himself. Perhaps it's the effect of Chu Yi's nickname being so prominent, but the only one left who's still showing calm was the red-robe elder who first spoke up earlier. But in truth, the witch coming isn't anything to be freaking out about. It's fine, everyone, and be optimistic. We are the medicine sect, we just need to send someone to look after the girl so she doesn't cause any harm. Though he says that, the trembling legs underneath his robe said otherwise. Earth-shattering 333, not long later, the guards soon returned with another person to stand in front of Bai Changfeng's presence. Tell me, is there anyone who came to our medicine sect carrying the invitation slip from the Luoho kingdom? Taking a sip from his teacup, the old senior casually asks despite his heart tensing up into a knot. Reporting to sect leader, that there is indeed a person who came with thy item. Try as he might in being respectful, the man's voice nevertheless carried a pang of agitation when speaking. It couldn't be helped. The poor person was nothing more than an individual in charge of watching the entrance gates. The very fact that he could gain an audience with the Lord was a gift in of itself. Snapped. Perhaps it's the knot within him being relieved, or he's just lost on how to react, but Bai Changfeng's tense fingers had lost their grip and allowed the liquid to flow onto his pants. Is it a girl coming from there? Is she beautiful? Where is she? Take me to see her. All excited in his face, the senior jerks up from the chair. Hearing this dumbstruck burst of demand from their lord, the individuals present were all frozen over, their faces disbelieving like realities playing with their ears. It can't be, the lord is going through a second spring because the madam is gone for so long? But no matter what, going after a young maiden not even half his age is too much. Sect leader, gulping hard, the gatekeeper got even more nervous, but the one who came isn't a girl, it's a boy. Boy? Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Something definitely cracked within the old fella's heart. Slouching back down to his chair, Bai Changfeng's eyes were filled with nothing but decadence and frustration. It's actually not her. She should have received the invitation from Zhanpeng. Why did she not come to the medicine sect? Is it because she hates us, hates me? At the moment, countless unnecessary thoughts were running through this grandfather's head, making him even more nervous and unsettling to everyone nearby. But she shouldn't have known about Zhanpeng's background, nor their relationship. So why? Can it be, some idiot from my medicine sect did something to her while they were outside? That's why she refused to come after receiving the invitation slip. SEC sect leader. Shaking right down to his legs upon seeing the ever-increasingly dark face on the old man, the poor gatekeeper could barely keep his words clear. What else? With eyes still ready to kill, Bai Changfeng's tone sounded unnervingly cold. That is. Miss Yi Ying is seeking an audience outside. Tell her to go. But the miss, bang. Slamming his hand against the desk in fuming rage. Who are you calling the miss? My medicine sect have no such miss in my household. Tell her to scram, if not then I will toss her out myself. Literally popping their eyes, the gatekeeper and the rest didn't understand what's going on. According to their memory, the Lord's attitude towards the Yi family has never been this poor before. What are you still standing there for? Hurry and get out. Or do you want me to kick you out instead? Not giving the poor people a chance to run, Bai Changfeng has already flown out and sent multiple kicks at these poor servants but to send them flying. He's been enduring old Madame Ye's outrageous demands over the years due to the bond with his late wife, but now that he's decided not to endure anymore, he has no reason to keep up a good face anymore. Besides, his patience was already wearing thin due to Bai Yan not appearing before him. The fact that these annoying people are coming to bother him at such a time meant it's only natural they face a good chunk of that fury. Miss Yi Ying, don't wait anymore, the Lord isn't going to see you. After being kicked out with the gatekeeper, the guard immediately went before the girl to pass on this message. Just that, instead of being respectful like before, his voice now carried sarcasm and contempt. Sure enough, Yi Ying's complexion instantly got paler. Did you not tell him I've been humiliated? If others humiliate me then it's the same as humiliating the medicine sect. Does my granduncle not care? Indulgence with the face slapping. 1. How can this old Madame Yi think about letting her grandson become the successor to the medicine sect when Bai Zhangpeng is still alive? Isn't that the same as cursing the young lord to be without child in this lifetime? The outburst from the old granny was completely overheard by the elders who came rushing over just now. So, imagine their shock and disbelief after knowing the witch was also present. 2. Too arrogant. The yellow-robed elder points accusingly at the perpetrator, his breath huffing hard like he's about to pass out. When did my medicine sect become your Yi families? It's enough that you would attempt to make the young lord take your granddaughter Yi Ying as his goddaughter. Now you are going as far as to make your grandson the future heir? How outrageous. The sect leader is still alive, and our young lord will stay healthy for many years to come. And what's that nonsense about the witch saying this Yi Ming is claiming to be her fiancé? Oh heavens, this Yi family. Where do they get such audacity from? First it was the attempt to marry Yi Ying to the young lord of the Holy Land several years back. Now they're trying to have Yi Ming take the princess of the Holy Land as his wife. Based on what? Grandmother. It was then that Yi Ming made a frantic scream to the old lady, his eyes showing great regret and despair. The whole reason he would dare say something like that earlier in front of Chu Yi and the rest was because there's nobody else around. Even if the other side made the claim he said something like that, there's no proof. But now, there's not only the disciples and outsiders coming to investigate the commotion, even the members of the Elder Council have arrived. I didn't say anything wrong. Old Madame Ye's neck shrank a notch, indicating her level of guilt. In actual fact, she regretted it as soon as she finished speaking, but since she has said it already, she couldn't exactly take it back. Grandmother, what's happening? Finally, the ruckus has brought Yi Ying out from the back as well after the loud noises. Slowly coming forward, the girl immediately furrowed her brow upon seeing Chu Yi's figure. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. She had once saw the witch a few years ago, but that's only from afar. Therefore, her only feeling was that the foe looked familiar and couldn't recognize who it was. Why is it so noisy outside? It couldn't be an attendee of the alchemy convention is coming to make trouble, right? Squinting her eyes, Yi Ying puts on a dissatisfied expression. It's best to simply throw these sorts of people out. I won't allow any form of cheating no matter what they say or do. My heart is stern and true to the medicine sect. Now that just confused the daylights out of Chu Yi. Scratching the back of her head, the witch turns to her two friends who promptly returned with a clueless shrug of their own. What does she mean by that? Lan Xiaoyun asks, baffled still. Di Xiaowan shook her head and answered, I don't know, maybe she has a problem in her head? What alchemy convention? I am here to get even with that Ying. Where is that person? Get her out here this instant. Cold in her tone, Di Xiaowan grew dangerous in her aura. Auntie Xiaowan. It was then that a little steam bun with her white kitty came running over from the rear, his voice soft and childish. This bad woman is Ying. She not only connived after Batty father, she also wants to snatch me away. Ying never said she would kidnap the baby boy, nevertheless, that won't stop Bai Shuchen from adding oil to the fire in the worst way possible. Then just as Ying was still stunned over the claim against herself, the demon princess has already rushed over to send a loud smacking slap across the girl's face. Who allowed you to connive after my brother? Who allowed you to try to steal my nephew? And who allowed you to compare yourself with my sister-in-law? Indulgence with the face slapping, too. The slap has left Ying utterly dumbfounded to the point where she had to take a good minute to come back to her senses. Ah! You bitch, I'm going to tear you apart for hitting my granddaughter. Old Madame Yi screams, running for the perpetrator in order to exact revenge. However, before that old woman could do anything, Di Xiaowan have already sent a mega kick against her obese body. A few tumbling rolls later, the old hag now laid flat on the ground. Yet none moved at her command. Instead, everyone only turned to the livid-looking elders that's been watching the entire thing unfold. They knew this wouldn't turn out well, so the posture of the medicine sect members instinctively backed off a step. As for Elder Lu Zhong and the rest, they wanted to tear Ying apart right now. The only reason they didn't rush over earlier was because they had no proper plan to appease Chu Yi, not because they didn't want to. This is over. This time, no matter how much we appease this witch, we're screwed. You want to hit me? Under the angry eyes of Yi Ying and others, Chu Yi only snarled a snicker. My father wouldn't even dare to hit me and you're threatening me? Who the heck are you? You're not even a disciple here. What, does the medicine sect have an opinion about me, about our holy land? Holy land? Yi Ying was gobsmacked by the news. This girl too? You are nothing but a disciple of the Holy Land, don't get ahead of yourself with that arrogance. Even if your sect leader comes in person today, our medicine sect won't let you off so easy. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Peng. Yi Ying didn't even get to finish her threat when an immense push tossed her aside. This infuriated the girl, of course, and that's on top of her already flaming mood. However, that flame was instantly smothered out at the recognition of who the individual was. Elder Tian Xian, you, how come you are here? The man named Tian Xian was the very same yellow-robed elder who spoke up at the meeting hall. After forcefully pushing aside the impudent girl, the senior promptly made a flattering smile. Wit. I mean princess, how come you are here? He originally wanted to call out with the nickname Witch, but thankfully his steady mindset has managed to stop that horrible mistake in the nick of time. No, this is definitely a mistake. Our Lord is doing just fine and will continue to do just fine for many years to come. This Yi Ming is nothing but a distant relative of the sect leader. What successor? Elder Tian Xian shoots a harsh glare at the Yi family members. As for that talk about being your fiancé, I never heard of such nonsense. That's right. Princess, you are both beautiful and talented, only the best of the best out there is worthy of you. This Yi Ming, humph, he's not even worthy of being your shoe licker. Princess, everything is the Yi family's fault, it has nothing to do with us. So you see. Can you spare the precious treasures in our medicine sect? The elders were surrounding Chu Yi from every angle, afraid the girl would slip away to rob them dry using this opportunity. Indulgence with the face slapping. 3 elders, pausing for a sec, Yi Ying nervously asks, what do you mean by those words, what princess? The princess of the Holy Land could only refer to one individual, so she wanted to confirm it again. Yi Ying. Lu Zhong, red robe, face got dreadfully cold. How dare you threaten the princess here? Even if I had 100 lives in my hand, would never dare to say something so outrageous like hitting the wit. I mean princess. Boom. First it was the massive explosion in Yi Ying's head, followed closely by the empty state of mind. As a result, all traces of blood have left the girl's face as she faltered backwards in disbelief. No. Impossible. This woman is the princess of the Holy Land, the one envied by all the females in this world? Impossible. A shrewd scream suddenly burst out from the ground. It was old Madame Yi, her face twisted and enraged by the truth. She resents everyone, including the world. This wild wench couldn't possibly be the princess of the Holy Land. Impossible, all of you must be lying to me. It's a mistake. Yes, they're either lying or making a mistake. How can this uncultivated wild wench be a princess of such a great power? The Lord of the Holy Land must be blind to love such a rude impudent girl. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Thank goodness my Yi Ying is not like this. She's clever and well-behaving, the polar opposite of what is bad. Hey, shifting her head over to her friend then, Chu Yi's smile was sinister and scary. Di Xiaowan, want to have a bet on who can leave more bruises? Okay, the demon princess readily nods in return. I will be responsible for the lower body and you the upper half. As for the face, we will give it to Lan Xiaoyun. How dare she try to snatch my brother and nephew? Let's see how she will do that after we are through with her. Rolling up her sleeve, Chu Yi slowly steps forward in an intimidating manner. Now Yi Ying was truly frightened as the three girls surrounded herself. She could tell there's no escape and the impending future couldn't be good in any form. Ah! For some reason, the sky was extraordinarily brilliant this afternoon. However, this wondrous scene was soon shattered when a heart-wrenching scream rocked the air and the occupants on this mountain. Perhaps it's due to the deadline quickly drawing close, but aside from the disciples and uninvolved individuals, pretty much all of the alchemists coming for convention had ignored the commotion. They're far too busy with their own work to care about another's misery. My granddaughter, my precious granddaughter. When everyone eventually dispersed after being done with the show, it was old Madame Yi who rushed over to the girl's side first. The old granny was trembling all over as she examined the dazed-looking patients. Answer me please Inger, please answer grandmother. Still bloodshot in the eyes, Yi Ying didn't react as she eyed the sky. However, the swollen sting on her bruises eventually brought her back to attention. Grandma, I want revenge. There's not an ounce of beauty left in the girl's outer contour, only a corrosive hatred that could melt the target. I want vengeance for today's pain. But, if the other party really is the Holy Land's princess then how? Indulgence with the face slapping, for, I must be Bai Zhanpeng's daughter, and I must be the young lady of this medicine sect. I must be feared by all like that Chu Yu. And I will have all those who mocked me look at me with adoration. In the past she was only keen on taking the young lady position for this place, but now, it's not enough anymore. Why didn't you marry Bai Changfeng back then? Clenching her fingers until the nails were piercing into her own flesh, Yi Ying stares intently at the old granny. Even if you couldn't become his wife, then why didn't you become his concubine? Would I be in this situation if you had done so back then? I would have been a genuine lady of the medicine sect. This is all your fault, all your fault. The bashing leaves the old woman's head hanging in shame, for she believed the same thing. Back then, she did in fact try to seduce her brother-in-law. Who wouldn't be tempted? A handsome young master with plenty of power and influence, to say Bai Changfeng was the ideal lover of any lady wasn't an understatement. But in the end, everything came to naught after repeated rejection. So who's to blame for this outcome? Of course, in old Madame Yi's eyes it would be her older sister Yi Jing who won in the end. That's right, if not for that slut's existence then I would be Bai Changfeng's wife. The position of mistress of the medicine sect would also be mine. It's all her fault, all Yi Jing's fault. Don't worry Inger, I will have you become Bai Zhanpeng's goddaughter so you won't be picked on by that bitch from the Holy Land again. Getting up from the floor, old Madame Yi firmly states her decision before heading straight out of the room. Her destination, the courtyard where the Lord resides. As for Yi Ying, who remains lying on the ground, her lips had inexplicably curled into a sinister grin after watching that departing back leave her sight. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Power really is a good thing. I will also get power in the future and no one can ever rob me of that. While the autumn leaves were falling beautifully today, the old grandpa on the other hand couldn't rest at ease. One for Bai Yan's whereabout, the other for the annoying commotion outside. Where is my son? Tell that brat to get here so I can know when he is bringing my granddaughter over. Sitting on his stone stool in the garden, Bai Changfeng asks one of the servants. He's the sect leader, so leaving the medicine sect on a whim was out of the question, but Bai Zhangpeng's different. I will go right away to inquire for you, my lord. One of the servants salutes and retreated in haste. And for the love of God, is she still outside refusing to leave? Furrowing his brow at the screaming voice that's rocking the air, the old grandpa grumbles in annoyance. This naturally irritated the old grandpa to no ends. My lord, another servant speaks. Old Madam Yi said that if you won't see her then she won't stop. Going cold in his face, Bai Changfeng's expression promptly turned into a snarling scowl. Fine, let her in. I like to see what sort of trouble she's going to raise this time. Yes, sect leader. The servant went out quick and returned just as quickly with the old granny in tow. Brother-in-law, you must get justice for me. The voice bordering on the level of screeching, old Madam Yi suddenly pounced at the sight of her target. Bump. However, instead of allowing the old woman to grab onto himself like most gentlemen would, Bai Changfeng instead raised his leg to stop that body from getting any closer. This wasn't out of spite or anything, he's just too shocked and scared by the person's abrupt movement. If you have something to say then do it properly. What do you think you are doing by trying to grab onto me? The man's face turned green from disgust at the possible reason. Don't tell me, are you trying to seduce me like you did years ago? Old Madame Ye's complexion flushed hard upon having her intent brought to the forefront. Indeed, she's trying to do exactly that, just that the other side never gave her a chance. Not back then, and most likely not now either. War God White Tiger, 4, my son need not be soft-hearted, nor does his pet. If anyone dares to provoke him then destroying the foolish idiot is all he needs to do. I will tell little master that then. With his head lowered still, little Rice continues to shiver uncontrollably. That immediately roused a flicker of displeasure in the man's expression. Am I that terrifying? I didn't say anything nor did I do anything yet. Why is everyone so afraid of me? I don't care either way, but if Yen Yen were to see this then she might mistake it as me picking on this little white tiger. That won't do at all. Little Rice instantly made a 360. From a shivering look, his face now carried a cuddly smile. How could you be terrifying, King? That must be your illusion. But if you could hold back your suffocating aura then that would be great. Really, how does Mistress and Little Master endure being in front of King's presence? I could barely breathe while standing here yet they could talk so freely like it's nothing. Very well. Loosening that furrowing brow of his, Di Tsang has now decided to change his ways. At the very least, while in front of those who his wife cares for anyways. If I don't then Yen Yen will definitely be angry with me. Popping his tigerly eyes at the quick answer, Little Rice had trouble believing reality. King agreed that easily? Why didn't I speak out at the beginning then? In that short moment where the baby tiger was still lost in his own thoughts, Di Tsang's presence have already disappeared from sight following a strong gust of wind. Coming back into the room minutes later, Little Rice remains uncertain whether or not he should carry out the order as told. But then when Di Tsang's face came flying out from his mind again in the next moment, any hesitation instantly leaves him. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Mistress, I'm sorry but it's King who told me to ignore your will. Giving off a glint of guilt in his eyes, Little Rice slowly crawled up to Bai Yan's side. I must do this in secret, otherwise Mistress would definitely refuse if she finds out. Due to being deep in slumber from her nap, Bai Yan was completely clueless to what's about to happen. Instead, all she felt was a strange influx of energy seeping into her head and prying open a gate to her memories. The sky has been stained red with blood and the battlefield rocking with agonizing screams. The scene was all too familiar because she had seen this before. It's the very same place that appeared when Di Tsang made the contract with her without permission. So why would she see this place again? Queen, I will handle these people while you go find king. Boom. Not even the rivers of time could deter these words from reaching into Bai Yan's heart. It's painful to the point where it's piercing to the heart. No. Don't. She cries out without knowing why. Then as her legs moved forward under the guidance of a mysterious force, another attack has come from above. Numerous arrows smashed down, piercing every part of the teen's body in doing so. He protected me just now. A simple dodge would have sufficed, yet he stayed to protect me. No, overcome with grief, Bai Yan didn't know why her memories were playing such pictures. It's so painful that she wanted to cry and scream in agony. Indulgence with the face slapping. 6. As Bai Changfeng watched the departing back of that shrew disappear from his eyes, the man's irises were flashing a dead gleam by then. Sect leader, a nearby guard wanted to speak up, but again and again his words were withdrawn out of hesitation. I've already said it there. Taking Yi Ying as a goddaughter will only happen if there's no third-generational heir to the medicine sect. So, that outcome would never happen because I've now found my granddaughter, thus making the promise invalid. Bai Changfeng, we have come to visit you at your home. It was then that the old grandpa's train of thought was interrupted by the far-reaching laughter from afar. Frowning at first, the old grandpa had to take a good moment to recognize that voice. Looking up, he eyes the sky for the expected figures to eventually show themselves. But when they did so, he actually became slightly surprised by the lack of a third. How come it's only you two? Where's Qiu Shurong? Third. Zheng Qi, first, and Ren Yi, second, didn't answer and went silent. What were they supposed to say? Tell Bai Changfeng that because of Ren Yi's blunder in revealing Bai Yan's whereabouts to Ditsang, they now have to keep their third brother at home in order to avoid spilling the beans to their precious disciple? No way. Absolutely not. There's no way they would let others know about something so shameful. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Old 3 is busy at the moment, so it's only us two coming to visit you. Keeping his face straight, Zheng Qi was the one who answered the question like the responsible one. Bai Changfeng, we've heard today is the final day of the convention. I'm just wondering, are we too late? No, the both of you are not late at all, just in time in fact. But I'm curious though. You three brothers have never been interested in the alchemy convention before, why the sudden change in heart by sending a Holy Land's disciple this year? Oh, Zheng Qi remains all calm and carefree, because the one sent over is none other than my precious disciple. Dun. Bai Changfeng originally wanted to take another sip from his teacup then, however, when he heard that explosive news, he literally spat the liquid out from his mouth and coughed profusely afterwards. Your disciple is here? Raising his head in amazement, the old grandpa's face clearly showed astonishment over the news. Ever since several years ago when these three brothers said they took in a genius disciple, they've been treasuring the individual like their greatest treasure. Even now, he has no information whatsoever about the person due to their protectiveness. Hold on. Excuse me, but what is the name of your disciple again? My disciple's name. Reni had wanted to answer the other side's question, but it was his older brother who hurriedly stopped him with an eye signal. Lord Bai, what sort of bad schemes are you planning there? All smiles, Zheng Qi puts up a cheeky front like a brat. My disciple is not only our precious baby, our Lord is also very fond of her and even had his daughter become the girl's little follower. So, you can lose the idea of stealing her over to the medicine sect. This bastard actually dares to inquire about my precious disciple's origin. Dream on, we won't be so gullible and let you steal her away. Bai Changfeng's expression instantly went stiff like a piece of plywood. Showing a thin layer of anger, Elder Zheng Qi, what do you mean by that? As if I would need to steal your disciple? Am I that kind of person? I'm telling you now, I couldn't care less about your disciple. I have a granddaughter and her alchemic skills wouldn't lose out to your disciple in any way. Indulgence with the face slapping. 7. Oh. Your daughter is missing already, so where did this granddaughter come from? Ren Yi apparently didn't buy the old fart story about the girl's existence. After all, the other side have on multiple occasions snatched their Holy Land's disciple away using various temptations. Whether it be personal or business-wise, the second brother had no reason to want to believe it. Pung. When it came to the last sentence, Bai Changfeng's face appeared very smug and proud. Now I want to see for myself who this girl is when you say it like that. Your granddaughter, where is she? Show me. Zheng Qi makes a dismissive smile and asked. Want to get news on my granddaughter? Ha. Bai Changfeng grins gleefully. I've snatched your Holy Land's disciples so often that I'm not going to fall for the same trick. Want to steal my granddaughter away? Dream on. During these days, the three bastards over there haven't stopped gloating in front of himself. Saying this, saying that. Therefore, he wants to one-up them so very badly right now. Bai Changfeng, you are overthinking this. I've already got the most powerful disciple, so it's impossible for the likes of you to steal her away. However, I don't mind having both girls compete when the time comes. We can see who has the better air. Fine, deal. I am very confident about my granddaughter, so she will not lose to your disciple. In light of having said that, the old grandpa in fact didn't hold much weight in terms of confidence. It's not like he didn't have faith in Bai Yan, but rather it's the repeated delay in bringing the girl over. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. And what if the girl doesn't recognize him as her grandfather? Wouldn't that mean he's already lost before it started? Just thinking about all the ifs and nots was enough to throw the old boy's nerve into disarray. Inwardly, he really wanted to yell at his son for being so slow. If it weren't for this idiot son of mine, then I could already be with Yen Yen and hold my great-grandson in my arms. Why am I staying here suffering these two instead? Haha. Ren Yi heartily bellows out a laugh. Let's go, the winner of this convention will definitely be my disciple. Snorting at that statement, Bai Changfeng refuses to lose the front before things started. You should be glad my granddaughter is not here to contend, otherwise she'd be the one taking the prize in place of your disciple. This undoubtedly left the old grandpa somewhat dissatisfied inside. After all, the other side was gloating left and right while he's still hoping to meet his granddaughter that's still nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, inside an exquisite room, Ying was currently lying on her bed staring off into the ceiling. Due to the bruises and bumps on her body, the girl's appearance could only be described as a pig, a sore sight for any female. Miss, a maid comes in through the door with a tub of hot water in hand. Did something happen outside? The patient's voice sounded dry and unpassionate. Miss, the maid bites her lip, unsure what to say. Someone found your love letter inside the young master's room just now. Indulgence with the face slapping. 9. Bai Yan brows tightly furrows up. You're not busy today? Perhaps it's because there's resistance in her tone, but the man's naughtiness quickly subsided and turned into a gentle embrace. Yen Yen, are you mad at me? Mad at me for not keeping you company? Yes, the man curls one corner of his mouth. This is what state teacher directed. State teacher? Pursing her lip, Bai Yan's mind promptly went back to that blood-ridden scene of a battlefield. As a result, the woman's complexion didn't look so good. If the battlefield I saw was one of my past life, then does that mean I also knew Ditsang in my past? Ditsang, I want to know your identity. She knew he's the king of the demon realm through the green snake's mouth from before, but aside from that, she knew next to nothing else about this insufferable bastard who takes advantage of herself whenever he can. But now, she desperately wants to learn everything about him and whether or not they're acquainted in some way prior. The demon realm has prophesied that I can only marry one wife in this lifetime, and that I must wait for her to appear. You are her, the one in the prophecy. Though she's adamant about the prophecy being true or not, Bai Yan nevertheless waited to see what else the man had to say. In addition to these, I'm also the king of the demon realm. Other than that, I got nothing else to say. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Why? Bai Yan widens her eyes at the picturesque man of devilish delight. I don't remember a lot of things, he frowns. I only remember waking up in the palace several hundred years ago. State teacher called me king, so that's how it's been since. What about Xiao Wan? Isn't she your sister? Xiao Wan is my sister, there's no falseness in that. Us demons are very clear about our bloodline and could recognize it through that method. It's how I know Xiachen is my son at first glance. The man's voice turned rasp, just that when I found her, she was but a little fox sealed within a barrier. And when I released her, the memories, they were all gone as well. Gently closing her eyes at the clarified truth, Bai Yan appears troubled by what she heard. So it's impossible to learn of the past from Ditsang then. I want to see this state teacher then. Perhaps, that state teacher will know everything. What do you want to see him for? Ditsang's complexion instantly went sourly dark. There's nothing good about seeing him. You only need to see me every day. Squinting her eyes then, Bai Yan makes a grab for the man's collar like a lone shark threatening a victim. You're sure about not letting me meet him? When do you want to meet him? I will arrange it right away. All smiles, Ditsang yields instantly. This. I can't hear anything, you two continue. Yen, does this mean you are willing to return to the demon realm with me? Retracting his gaze from the third body after his deathly glare, Ditsang looks on in anticipation at the enchanting female. Caressing her own chin, I only wanted to figure out some questions I have, so. I must figure out what that dream means. Is it from a previous lifetime, or an illusion? But it was at this moment that Bai Yan's lips became smothered once again by the pompous and overbearing man. This time though, the movements definitely reflected the excitement coursing through Ditsang's veins. Oh Yen, I have waited for this moment for far too long. From now on and into the future, you are the queen of the demon realm and the mistress of the inner palace. Indulgence with the face slapping, 10, Bai Yan's heart shuddered over the comment, her eyes staring intently at the other side. One love for one life, can this man really do it? Yen, the position of queen has been vacant for many years all because of you. Now that you are here, I can finally lose my solo life. It's just a matter of time anyways. Ditsang's smile was all domineering and arrogant when making the claim. In this lifetime, you won't be able to get rid of me. Even in death, I will still come back to haunt you and cling on to you. Now that did it. Unsettled and unsure on how to take that level of advance, Bai Yan makes a frantic run for the door after crawling out of bed. The voting for the alchemy convention is about to begin. I'll first head out. With that said, the woman didn't wait for a second to run out of the room while also slamming the door like it would do anything helpful. With the woman gone and only a tiger and demonic being in the background, it was apparently time for some interrogation. Due to this, Little Rice could only shrink his head in upon being stared down on the bed. Did I do something? What happened on the day when you contracted with Yen? Ditsang's voice was demanding and frosty. I don't know, maybe it's because Mistress had a dream. She woke up crying. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases crying. Ditsang's heart tenses up over the revelation. His level of adoration for the woman has reached a new high, that's why even the fact that she's crying would make his mood all mixed and churning. You mean, when she contracted with you, something else happened that we're not aware of? And that it made her cry? I think, that's the case. Scratching his furry head, Little Rice cautiously answers. Sneering aloud, Ditsang's eyes narrows in dangerously. I had intended to match state teacher with Xiao Wan as soon as possible, but because of this, I should postpone the idea. Yen never would have cried if not for state teacher saying it's imperative that the tiger must contract with her. King, Little Rice meekly says, Princess has been clinging on to Mistress lately, and there's indication that she's about to occupy Mistress all to herself. That instantly made the man's complexion go dark. That girl is clinging on to my woman? And, the tiger carefully looks up, Mistress said she wants to see state teacher. I don't know how that person looks, but if you give the princess to him then wouldn't it be good? This way you won't have to worry about them both taking up Mistress's time. If Yen could accept me then I wouldn't have to worry so much, but she keeps pushing me away. Fine, I just need to remove any possible obstacles. This way I can have her all to myself. Actually, the light in Little Rice's eye flickers meaningfully. King, you are actually very special in Mistress's eye. Though she repeatedly rejected your advances, she at least allows you to be rejected. If it was any other man, they would have been thrown aside without a single chance. That is, except for Chu Yifeng. Really? Transforming from gloom to bright, Di Tsang's voice never sounded so king to the baby tiger. Indulgence with the face slapping. 11. Little Rice immediately nodded. My lineage is at the very least that of the great white tiger, would never lie. I understand then, raising a curvy smile. Di Tsang's face now loosens up. In a few days I will return to the demon realm with her. Outside in the courtyard, Di Xiaowan and the rest were just in the middle of rushing over to the venue when they incidentally bumped into Di Tsang from behind. Brother, hurrying to straighten herself, the demon princess grew all rigid in her posture. Due to his good mood, the man even showed off a smile to his sister that only had the opposite effect. Brother, did I do something wrong? Staring up at her brother's face, the girl nervously bites her lip. Could you not make your smile so frightening? If it was in the past, Di Tsang would most certainly tie the brat up to whiplash her for a good session over that comment. However, he's not only impassive at the moment, his smile only grew deeper. Your sister-in-law promised to go home with me. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Blank all over in the head, Di Xiaowan had to take a good minute to pop her eyes in over the realization. What did he say? Did sister-in-law agree to go to the demon realm? This surprise is too sudden. I need a minute to slow down. Brother, is what you're saying absolutely true? I can finally bring sister-in-law and nephew home? Yes, still making his creepy smile, I'm giving you special permission. While I'm not around, you are free to feed any who dares to trouble your sister-in-law to the demon beasts within the abyss. There's no need to report the aftermath to me about these people. This instantly brought on a delighted mood to the demon princess. This special privilege is too perfect. Even if I kill those trashy bitches here and the ones back at the demon realm, no one will blame me. Brother, you can rest assured, I will definitely do a proper job of protecting sister-in-law and Xiachen. Whoever dares to come make trouble, I will have state teacher deal with them. Smiling right up to her eyes, the demon girl now sparkles with delight like the starry stars in the night sky. As unwilling as she was to admitting this fact, she could do nothing to change this fact. You finally understand? Di Xiaowan flutters her eyelash in elation. Although I am very much afraid of my brother, but in my mind, he will always be the best. No one can match up to him, so of course that's the case. Lowering her eyes in a downcast manner, Chu Yi's voice lowered into a moan. I've always wanted to make Bai Yan my sister-in-law, but in comparison to my wishes, I know Bai Yan's happiness is more important. So, no matter what happens in the future, I will always support her from behind. I believe my brother would do the same if he was in my case. If the road ahead is too rugged, then brother would surely flatten it. There's no way he would allow anyone to destroy Bai Yan's happiness. Let's us go already, the voting for the winner of the alchemy convention is about to begin. I'm sure cousin would be the one to win, so I don't want to miss it. Unlike the two troubled girls beside herself, Lan Xiaoyun had a better outlook on the situation and even showed off a glistening youthful light around herself. Over at the main venue, crowds of people were quickly gathering and has created a loud scene of lively gossips and chattery. Indulgence with the face slapping. 12. A humph. Elder CEO Wang makes a cough to clear his throat, allowing his eyes ample time to land on that reddish figure among the crowd. To think the incident from yesterday with this blasted woman would attract the princess of the Holy Land over. The old fella furrows his brow, troubled by the obstacle now lays before him in dealing with the troublesome disciple of that power. At the same time, over at the observation deck not far away from the venue, several old farts were currently eyeing the scene with happy smiles from their seats. Do you see now, that's my precious disciple. Ren-yi proudly cocked his head high. My disciple will definitely be the winner of this convention considering how amazing she is. How am I supposed to know which is your disciple when you don't point it out to me? Shooting a raised eyebrow at the silly fella, Bai Changfeng points out the biggest flaw here. Of course it is the best on there. Proud in his face, Ren-yi was smiling right up to high eyes then. At this point Bai Changfeng didn't even want to deal with this old fart anymore. It didn't matter anyways. After the convention comes to an end, all he has to do was to ask a subordinate on who was the disciple from the Holy Land. Want to keep a secret from me? As if they can do that while on my home turf. Seriously, how can these two old-timers be so smart in the past but be so befuddled whenever it comes to their disciple? What? Just as Bai Chang Feng was scanning the venue like he usually does every year, his eyes suddenly fell upon a certain familiar figure. Jerking up from his seat, anger and shock instantly overtakes his old face. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Where is Elder Gu? Get him out here to me this instant. Milord, Elder Gu, he's currently in closed-door training right now with your son. The guard nervously answers, shuddering over the oppressive chill creeping down his spine as a result of the deathly aura exuding out of his lord. Closed-door training? Bai Chang Feng huffs a grunt, his teeth grinding from rage. No wonder that brat is missing all this time. My granddaughter is already here and he has the nerve to hide it from me? Go find my son this instant. When you do, I want him in front of my face immediately. At this very moment, the old grandpa's control was at its limit. Similar, she's too similar. That girl, she's almost identical to Ninger, daughter, when she was young. Who would dare say she's not my granddaughter? Both the face and air, they are exactly the same. Your granddaughter is here? Renée turns around to show an amazed face. How can it be that you don't even know your own granddaughter is here? Talk about stabbing someone's heart while they're down. Though not intentional or with ill intent, Renée's remark literally left the old grandpa bleeding like he's been pierced with 1,000 knives. In fact, Bai Chang Feng would love to kill the blasted old fart for his careless comment. That's how much of a sore spot the subject was. Yenner is here, how dare that brat hide it from me? Unacceptable. So what if I didn't know? Stalking his neck in embarrassment, my daughter's been gone for so long, what's the problem with my granddaughter not knowing about my existence? It's normal that she would not tell me when she came. Snorting at that laughable defense, Renée didn't want to argue over the strange topic and ignored it. Instead, his attention was more inclined towards who the girl was. Which one is it then, your granddaughter? The one that looks the most like my daughter. Humph, when I saw your daughter, she was only a few years old. How do you expect me to recognize the girl with only that sort of detail to go upon? Scared to the point of being unable to walk, 3, without giving his feline friend a chance to say anything there, the baby boy's hand has already yanked that tail into a gripping hold. Together, one tiger and one boy, they disappeared like the gusting wind in pursuit of the 3 ladies. Meanwhile in the background still, when Ru was putting on a weeping face the entire way. He's pained by the Dan pills that's been left scattered on the floor due to Bai Shechen's outburst just now. What a spendthrift, a spendthrift. Those are 6th grade. How can he just eat them like it's nothing and a whole bottle at that? Why can't they be given to me instead? What's the matter? Noticing the oddity, Bai Yan's first glimpse of the grievance in her subordinate's mood was the fact that he was sorrowfully picking up the leftovers from the ground like a beggar. In light of the question, when Ru didn't answer like he usually does in an upbeat attitude. Instead, the young man only staggered back to his room and shut the door like a dispirited ghost. Now that's left the woman all confused and clueless. Since Bai Yan herself didn't know what's going on, she has decided to ignore it out of consideration for the boy's past action. There's just too many oddballs constantly running around in her life, so another when Ru here makes hardly any difference. The Elder Assembly Hall, one of the most important places within the medicine sect. I don't know what happened, but Zhampeng suddenly called over half of us away something. Now he's not paying any attention to the alchemy convention, says a red-robed elder inside the chamber hall. Yeah, this convention is usually hosted by the young master. Now that he's gone, everything is falling into CEO Wang's hands and it's becoming a mess, especially how he tried to expel the disciple from the Holy Land at the persuasion of that Ying. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. These elders were all getting a throbbing migraine over the recent events of the past 2 days. They want the real lord or young lord to step in, or the very least to give them permission to interfere. As things stand now, they are helpless. Everyone, this is indeed our fault. If the time comes that the Holy Land does come seeking answers, we are going to have to endure the consequences. I heard that the position of the disciple is not high, so the Holy Land wouldn't really come make trouble because of someone like that, right? Damn it, if things do go that way, then it's just going to benefit that misty fairy house. While these elders were negotiating on how to deal with the aftermath, a man dressed in protective gear had suddenly barged into their meeting. Based on how agitated and flustered the person was, it's obvious he did so in the heat of the moment after running all the way. Who allowed you to come in? A yellow-robed elder roared, slamming his fist against the table. Crumbling to the floor at the yell, the person stutters profusely, "Elders, we are in trouble. The Holy Lands which is here." What? Astonishment and fear instantly shook the chamber, their eyes borderline disbelieving the news. The witch is coming. Why did she come here? Is it because she found out about us bullying her sex disciple? This witch have always been short-tempered and is definitely going to raise a storm. It shouldn't be. The news couldn't have spread so fast, but letting her know about it will definitely cause an uproar. Damn that Yi Ying. If this matter is really related to her, then I won't let her off the hook. The yellow-robed elder was blistering red due to the anger in himself. Perhaps it's the effect of Chu Yi's nickname being so prominent, but the only one left who's still showing calm was the red-robe elder who first spoke up earlier. But in truth, the witch coming isn't anything to be freaking out about. It's fine, everyone, and be optimistic. We are the medicine sect, we just need to send someone to look after the girl so she doesn't cause any harm. Though he says that, the trembling legs underneath his robe said otherwise. Indulgence with the face slapping, 14, shadowless sect, 3 completed recipes, disqualified. Tian Xian sect, 5 completed recipes, barely pass. Moon Slicer sect. Following each result of the judges from the medicine sect, there were many frowns and tense faces, but more were leaning towards the frustrated expression as a result of their failure. There are a total of 12 recipes given out this year. To be able to complete just 5 was enough to prove a contestant's worth. Sadly, among the many forces participating, the highest success rate revolves around only 7. Before long, a judge has arrived at Bai Yan's spot and begun opening the box she prepared ahead of time to house the pills she created. 7 types of pills? The judge's face became a bit red over the sight. 7 types of pills? The faces of all the people were showing astonishment as well by now. Elder CEO Wang, it was then a middle-aged man, stepped forward. First giving Bai Yan a negative look, he then faced the old senior. "I want to protest. This woman was sneaking around our place of residence last night. Then by this morning, us of the Moon Slicer sect discovered there's been a theft. 7 of our creations were missing from the main cauldron." Watching this unfold from afar, Yi Ying, who was still being carried around, finally revealed her sinister self again in public. There's no other reason, it's because this man was arranged by her to destroy Bai Yan's reputation. Are your words true? Elder CEO Wang's face turned slightly white, his anger showing then as he confronted the accused. Like the old senior, the onlookers were also focused in on Bai Yan by now. Their faces all questioning and uncertain. To think there would be someone daring enough to cheat at the alchemy convention. Is she asking to die? This woman may be part of the Holy Land, but not even her sect would shield someone so low. Of course my words are true. The middle-aged man from the Moon Slicer sect smugly grins. Miss Yi Ying will be Bai Zhanpeng's goddaughter in the future. There's no way the Holy Land would shield a disgraced disciple that has no background or ability. Where is your evidence? CEO Wang's expression sank, turning dark and stern as he attempts to get to the bottom of this. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Elder, you should have noticed as well. This woman from the Holy Land did nothing but play with her son during the past 3 days. Where is she supposed to find time to refine all these pills while doing something like that? What's more, there's no way each contesting party would only create 1 pill of each type. My Moon Slicer sect has done just that and is missing 1 of each kind from our possession. As it so happens, it's exactly the one she has in that box. The implication of that statement was that the disciple from the Holy Land didn't know any alchemy at all, merely an extra to make up the numbers. Sure enough, Elder CEO Wang's complexion was now darker than the bottom of a burnt pot. It's not like the old fella didn't pay attention to Bai Yan's actions during these past few days. That's why he's willing to believe the man's claim to a certain extent. Humph, to think there really is someone daring enough to cheat while under my watch. Over at the other end of the crowd, Di Xiaowan and Chu Yi were already fuming hard upon seeing these people spouting lies left and right. But just as the two were ready to jump out to kick some asses, it was their friend Lan Xiaoyan who pulled them back. Don't worry, my cousin will be able to handle these idiots on her own. If you two go out now, then wouldn't we be missing a good show as a result? Though the words were able to keep the two dangerous females at bay, but the surging anger in those eyes didn't diminish in the least. In fact, it's only growing stronger. Indulgence with the face slapping, 15, Bai Yan seems to have noticed the ridiculing eyes casted her way. Making a faint smile, are these recipes hard? As if they would need me 3 days to study and understand. Boom. The crowd was shocked, their eyes popping over the woman's arrogance. She actually dares to claim they are not difficult. This is unprecedented. Such arrogance. True, she did not say she only has 7, but there are indeed only 7 within the bottle. At this moment, everyone has noticed by now that the judge in charge of assessing Bai Yan hasn't said a word since the middle-aged man jumped out to make the accusation. Wenru. Upon hearing his name, the teen immediately understood the meaning and handed over the results of his creations during these past 3 days. Of the 12 recipes this place handed out, 5 are extremely simple, that's why I gave it to my people to practice. All rosy in her face, Bai Yan stares down at the middle-aged man who was clearly losing steam. Or do you want to say all 5 of these Dan pills were also stolen from your place of residence as well? Boom. Silence hangs in the air after that revelation. However, the calm didn't last long before a giant uproar exploded among the people. 12. This woman actually finished all 12 recipes. Even these alchemists of the medicine sect couldn't completely understand the last few recipes during the past few months that they had it, but this woman could do it in 3 days? Ho, and the Moon Slicer sect people has the audacity to claim she stole it from them. What a load of crap. But then, who's the teen beside the woman? He finished 5 of the recipes on his own. The teen's not normal either. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. I didn't finish my words just now. The judge's hand was shaky as he held on to the pills. Of the pills this lady created, 5 of them are beyond my ability to discern. I like to request other elders to come forward in order to confirm their authenticity. If the Dan pills were wrong, then he would have immediately announced the woman as an imposter, using fake ones in order to get past the contest. However, he never said such a thing, claiming he couldn't discern their authenticity only. While shock and a sense of sensation circulated among the crowd, a group of elders led by none other than Lu Zhong, Red Robe Elder, have already ran over. Their faces were all showing excitement and wonder due to the amazing news. Silence now hangs in the air as everyone awaited the results. At first Lu Zhong didn't say anything after popping the cork and examining the pills repeatedly, but once he began exchanging meaningful glances with his peers and getting agreeing nods in return, a pleasant expression now became the norm. It's real, all of these Dan pills are real, especially this Spirit Booster Dan pill. I scratched a bit of it off to get a taste and my spirit force almost immediately saw improvement, almost double even. Towards a cultivator, the improvement of one's spirit force was of the utmost importance, for it's able to pave the path for quicker and easier results. For example, what would normally take a year to achieve might require only a month or 2 if their spirit force was abnormally high at the time. That made this pill almost priceless in the eyes of those who needs it to reach new heights when faced with a bottleneck. Indulgence with the face slapping, too. The slap has left Ying utterly dumbfounded to the point where she had to take a good minute to come back to her senses. Ah. You bitch, I'm going to tear you apart for hitting my granddaughter. Old Madame Yi screams, running for the perpetrator in order to exact revenge. However, before that old woman could do anything, Di Xiaowan have already sent a mega kick against her obese body. A few tumbling rolls later, the old hag now laid flat on the ground. Stop. Yi Ying's face was ugly and menacingly cold. You got some nerve acting so arrogant while inside the medicine sect. Someone come, subdue these assailants. Yet none moved at her command. Instead, everyone only turned to the livid-looking elders that's been watching the entire thing unfold. They knew this wouldn't turn out well, so the posture of the medicine sect members instinctively backed off a step. As for Elder Lu Zhong and the rest, they wanted to tear Yi Ying apart right now. The only reason they didn't rush over earlier was because they had no proper plan to appease Chu Yi, not because they didn't want to. This is over. This time, no matter how much we appease this witch, we're screwed. You want to hit me? Under the angry eyes of Yi Ying and others, Chu Yi only snarled a snicker. My father wouldn't even dare to hit me and you're threatening me? Who the heck are you? You're not even a disciple here. What, does the medicine sect have an opinion about me, about our holy land? Holy land? Yi Ying was gobsmacked by the news. This girl too? You are nothing but a disciple of the Holy Land. Don't get ahead of yourself with that arrogance. Even if your sect leader comes in person today, our medicine sect won't let you off so easy. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Peng. Yi Ying didn't even get to finish her threat when an immense push tossed her aside. This infuriated the girl, of course, and that's on top of her already flaming mood. However, that flame was instantly smothered out at the recognition of who the individual was. Elder Tian Xian, how come you are here? The man named Tian Xian was the very same yellow-robed elder who spoke up at the meeting hall. After forcefully pushing aside the impudent girl, the senior promptly made a flattering smile. I mean princess, how come you are here? He originally wanted to call out with the nickname witch, but thankfully his steady mindset has managed to stop that horrible mistake in the nick of time. If I didn't come, then I wouldn't have known the extensive arrogance of your medicine sect, now would I? Sneering still, oh yes, your medicine sect successor is claiming to be my fiancé while this old hag is saying I'm not worthy. So tell me, which is it? Also, when did this place get such a successor? Have the medicine sect fallen so low to use such garbage now? No. This is definitely a mistake. Our Lord is doing just fine and will continue to do just fine for many years to come. This Yi Ming is nothing but a distant relative of the sect leader. What successor? Elder Tian Xian shoots a harsh glare at the Yi family members. As for that talk about being your fiancé, I never heard of such nonsense. That's right. Princess, you are both beautiful and talented. Only the best of the best out there is worthy of you. This Yi Ming, humph, he's not even worthy of being your shoe licker. Princess, everything is the Yi family's fault. It has nothing to do with us. So you see. Can you spare the precious treasures in our medicine sect? The elders were surrounding Chu Yi from every angle, afraid the girl would slip away to rob them dry using this opportunity. Indulgence with the face slapping. 17. The man from the Moon Slicer sect wanted to flee then, but before he could, a girl wearing a pinkishly fine dress have already blocked him from behind. Arms stabbing her waist. You bullied my sister-in-law and you still want to run away? Move it. In a swing of his fist, the man attempts to send a punch at Di Shaowan. However, before he could even land it, the girl's flying kick have already reached over and knocked him over in a rolling fall. Auntie, I will tell Batty Father about what you said there. Stern and serious, Bai Xiaochen untimely interjects himself to cause the girl a wave of fright. I am just kidding. It's really just a joke. Don't tell my brother please, or he will beat me to death. Brother is already very dissatisfied with me clinging on to sister-in-law. If he learns of me saying something like that, then he would surely toss me out like a love rival. Ooh ow, groaning, the man from the Moon Slicer sect eventually manages to climb up from the floor. Miss, me misunderstanding you is my fault. However, isn't there a saying that a person is excusable if they didn't know, don't you agree? Did you really not know? Bai Yan rubs her chin as if contemplating the plausibility of that idea. It's true, the man gnashes his teeth and spits out that last bit. In any case, there's no way he would divulge the truth about Yi Ying bribing him to do the task. Otherwise, he be doomed in the future with no space to live. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases, true eh? Bai Yan squints her eyes and grew intimidatingly dangerous. Looking at the woman getting closer and closer, the man shuddered with an uncontrollable fear. What do you want to do? Of course I want to, stomp. Beat you until you admit it. Poof. Spewing a stream of blood straight out of his mouth, Bai Yan's ever-increasing foot strength has left the man struggling to breath. Then just as he's ready to roll his eyes and faint. Stop. Turning their heads, everyone soon saw the person being pushed over on a wheelchair. It was a bloated-looking girl due to the bruises, and as a result, they could barely recognize the original contour if not for the clothes she was wearing. Miss Bai, there's a saying of mercy on the weak. Since this man never intended to do what he did, isn't beating him relentlessly overly cruel? A flash of contempt flickers within Yi Ying's iris. And what if I say I want to cripple him? I can't stop you, but neither can I just watch you hurt others. Yi Ying's words just went all righteous. In the past 2 days, some people have framed me and my brother as well, but what can I do? In fact, I even know who famed me. However, I will only at most teach them a lesson. I do not ask you to be kind to others, but I can't allow you to be too cruel either. In all seriousness, Qi Yi and Di Xiaowan were both absolutely stunned by the shamelessness of that speech. They've never met someone capable of being this thick-skinned. Ho ho, Chu Yi slowly steps forward, her face showing contempt. If I didn't forget, I remember you trying to have my people take my away, did you not? Changing in her bloated face, yes, I have issued such an order, but that's only because I didn't know your identity. What's more, I only wanted to drive you away to stop you from causing trouble. I never harmed you in any way. Indulgence with the face slapping, 18, bang. Unable to control her temper, Chu Yi didn't give a rat's ass about the public's opinion and directly ran up to slap the shameless bitch's face. You shut up. If I hear another rotten word from that mouth of yours, then I will tear it off. How can simply tearing it off be enough? I say we should throw her into the abyss to feed the demon beasts instead. Due to Di Xiaowan's own lineage, it's not abnormal for the demon princess to want to help her kind get some extra meat. Though those creatures are of inferior status in every manner to her existence, nevertheless, she still has some duty to those poor things that's currently starving in the wild. Xiaowan, can I follow you to the demon forest? Shimmering with excitement in her eyes, Lan Xiaoyun jumps in to ask, I've never seen a wild demon beast eat a person before, can I? Nodding easily, of course, all the demon beasts out there belong to my family, so they won't hurt you by mistake. Don't you worry a bit and come watch. In front of that arrogance, no man or woman could possibly turn a blind eye to it. As a result, the attention has shifted from Bai Yan to this unknown girl who dares to make such a bold claim. This girl is too arrogant. Outrageous, you people are too outrageous. Old Madame Ye's face had turned livid by now. First she had to watch her own granddaughter be slapped in open public, then be insulted by 3 ignorant brats. No grandmother would stand idly by regardless of their terrible nature. Do you think you can have everything your way just because you are the daughter of the Lord of the Holy Land? I'm telling you, my granddaughter is going to be Lady of the Medicine Sect. My brother-in-law, the sect leader, have already promised to have Zhanpeng accept her as his goddaughter. What? Due to how heavy that statement was, it had somehow managed to overshadow the noise in this crowded venue. The sect leader promised to let the young master accept her as a goddaughter? And, why now of all times? Very irritated in her face now, Chu Yi didn't like it one bit. What does the medicine sect mean by this? You people know I hate this woman, yet she's still being taken as the young lord's goddaughter? Is this a declaration of war with us from the Holy Land? Chu Ying clenches her fists while making a cold hard frown. I endured your crimes because of my kindness, but you should know my status is now on equal grounds as you. What qualifications do you have to hit me? Boom. Not going to listen to another word of that nonsense, Chu Yi liberally sent another kick at the wheelchair to knock the occupant over. You are nothing but an imposter, don't even try to have the delusion of being on my level. I am a genuine princess of the Holy Land, and what are you? Nothing but a fake trying to act like a real one. Inger. Old Madame Yi exclaims, hurrying to upright her precious granddaughter from the ground. Yi Ying, is what your grandmother saying true? Lu Zhong and the rest were also showing an ugly expression as well, but it's not over the fact that the girl got hit though. Of course it is true. The old granny gnashes her teeth and snapped back, just wait until my brother-in-law comes over to announce the news. Once he learns of what you people did to bully my precious Inger, none of you will get away. This time the elders didn't say a word, their eyes locked entirely onto Yi Ying instead. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases, giving a nervous nod in return. Yes, Bai Zhangping is going to be my godfather and my granduncle will be personally coming to announce this news. Hiss. Everyone gasped hard at the notion. Yi Ying really got accepted as Bai Zhangping's goddaughter? Oh heavens, that would put her in the same league as the princess of the Holy Land. What exactly is the Lord thinking? The yellow-robed elder angrily speaks out. How could he allow an outsider become a direct member of our medicine sect? Isn't this the same as diluting our blood? Even if it's a goddaughter, it still isn't right. Indulgence with the face slapping, 19, haha. CEO Wang instantly swept away his depressed state and laughed twice. This proves that our Lord has good eyesight. Miss Yi Ying is unlike her brother Yi Ming, who only knows how to indulge himself in pleasure and lust. She's gifted, gentle and kind. The fact that the Lord wishes to turn her into a lady of our sect is excusable. After all, now others couldn't bully the lady anymore. When he said this, the old senior's eyes didn't forget to sweep over to Bai Yan and Chu Yi's location, thus indirectly indicating the two women as the instigator. I really don't know what Lu Zhong and the rest is thinking in indulging the Holy Land's princess. Can't they differentiate who is an outsider and an insider? This matter, the young master will not agree with it. The yellow-robed elder says this with his teeth grinding. It doesn't matter if the young master is willing to agree, what matters is the Lord's will. Who knows, perhaps the fact that the Lord is missing right now is due to his preparations for installing Miss Yi Ying as the future lady of our sect. At this point CEO Wang felt refreshed over his own self-conceited justification. Once Yi Ying becomes the lady here, my future will surely become smooth and bright, considering my flattery for today. As for these people, they can only be envious of me by then. You, the yellow-robed elder exploded, his face livid with anger. But just as the elder wanted to move forward to smash up that conceited face of CEO Wang's, Lu Zhong, red robe, had stopped him with a hand. Forget it, let's wait for this matter to be handled by the Lord when he comes around. There's no way such a big decision would come to pass without consulting the rest of us. If at the time he's still with the idea, we only need to oppose the idea. Sure enough, the sentence quickly calmed the heated yellow-robed elder down. It's not that the elder council of the medicine sect hated Yi Ying or such, rather they are well aware of the girl's sensible difference from her brother's useless nature. However, it doesn't change the fact that the medicine sect mustn't fall into the hands of an outsider with a different surname. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Just as the elders were indignant and fuming, an old voice suddenly reached over from afar. Who can tell me what happened here? Cold in his face, Bai Chang Feng slowly strolled over with an obvious look of impatience. As the sect leader, he's naturally obligated to interfere in such cases, but more importantly, he's not going to let his granddaughter be bullied. Brother-in-law. Crying out at Bai Chang Feng's appearance, old Madame Yi puts on the most fake act of indignation ever. You must get justice for me. This wild girl from the Holy Land is bullying my Inger despite me telling them her identity. Wrinkling his old brow, the grandpa indifferently casts his sight on the old shrew that instantly silenced her. It seems the alchemy convention is over. As for what happened just now, you lot can explain it to me afterwards. Right now, I have something important to announce. Now that's just the wrong timing. Going from timid to a cheeky high stance, the fat old shrew was once again at it upon hearing the statement. Humph, I've said it already. Brother-in-law would only announce something so big in front of everyone. Now I like to see anyone else looking down at my granddaughter. Compared with the excitement of old Madame Yi, Elder Lu Zhong and his faction that's against the idea were all showing a gloomy face. Sect leader wouldn't really disregard their feelings and dilute the medicine sect's bloodline, would he? Father. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the venue. Bai Changfeng's mood wasn't all that great to begin with after his argument, now to be interrupted so suddenly, his face also sank and turned to the source where Bai Zhangpeng was quickly walking out from the crowd. Indulgence with the face slapping, 20, you brat. As a result of Bai Changfeng's outrage, the elders as well as his son were all shuddering for a brief second. What happened? Why is the Lord so angry? Shouldn't he be finding the young Mrs. daughter a good and happy occasion? It was then some of the other elders have also arrived. They've been busy with Bai Zhangpeng confirming Bai Yan's identity, thus they're still oblivious to the reasoning for Lu Zhong, red robe, and the rest's ugly and uncomfortable face. Father, just scold me afterwards. I have some wonderful news to tell you. From the man's handsome face, Bai Zhangpeng soon found the reddish figure of his liking within the crowd. You mean to say, the old grandpa's body goes stiff like a block of wood? That's right, it's exactly what you think, father. Boom. Although he's long taken Bai Yan as his granddaughter regardless of the fact, but having confirmation still brings excitement to his old heart. My medicine sect finally has an heir. Ha ha ha. A long laugh rocks the world. Anyone could see the excellent mood of this old grandpa. In fact, ever since his daughter Bai Ning disappeared from the public's eye years ago, Bai Changfeng has never laughed so loudly and happily again. Great, this is too great. Grinning right up to his eyes, son, go stand on one side first, I will announce the great news to everyone here today. Yes, father. Walking to one side like asked, Bai Zhangpeng didn't forget to cast a warm and tender smile at his niece that's also nearby. As a result, this look of kindred love has left Bai Yan rather uncomfortable and twitchy. Son, did your grandpa Zhangpeng go stupid? After some thinking, that's the only conclusion the woman could come up with. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Nodding in return, Bai Shuchen attempts to hide his own guilt, probably. Should I tell mother I stole a strand of her hair and gave it to Grandpa Zhangpeng? If mother finds out, will she be angry with me? But Grandpa Zhangpeng isn't a bad person. Oh, what to do? Ladies and gentlemen, still smiling with a stupid grin on his face, there's something important I like to announce today. It's regarding a descendant of my home. That's why I want to take advantage of everyone's attendance to verify her identity to you all. It's really here. All eyes are now on Yi Ying. Envy, jealousy, and annoyance were only a sample of the emotions running through the crowd's heart. Really, what sort of luck is running through this Yi Ying? To think some nobody like that could become Bai Changfeng's granddaughter and be recognized in open public. Of course, Bai Changfeng wasn't a blind old fool. Naturally he would see the strange look shooting over to the bruised up and bloated girl on one side. I'm announcing my granddaughter's identity, why are they looking over to Yi Ying? A frown takes over that smile. Since the old grandpa couldn't figure out the reasoning for the strange behavior, he decides to just leave it and continued on with his speech. I think everyone can still remember my missing daughter Bai Ning. She disappeared many years ago. Bai Ning? Startled at the name, everyone's gaze immediately turns away from their initial target of envy. He's not going to announce Yi Ying's status? But then what does this all have to do with Bai Ning? Milord, you mean the young miss, she, still unclear over the sudden turn in event, Lu Zhong hurries to ask. I bet none of you could have guessed. While my daughter was away due to some unforeseen accident, she not only got married, she also gave birth to a daughter. Compared with Yi Ying's lie, the news from the old grandpa was even more shocking. The amazing girl from back then is already married and with children? Even though there are not many who's had the privilege of meeting Bai Ning in person, it doesn't mean they've never heard of the girl's outstanding talent and fame. Therefore, it was quite the regretful incident when it became known that she had gone missing 20 years ago. This was especially true for the younger male population who had some background. Indulgence with the face slapping, 21, against this bombshell of a news from the old grandpa himself. Not only were the elders of the medicine sect dropping their jaws, even the other forces present were as well. My poor granddaughter, she was raised by others as soon as she was born due to painful circumstances. If not by mere chance and coincidence, I never would have known about her existence. Wiping some of those tears away, Bai Changfeng didn't forget to sneak a peek at Bai Yan from one corner of his eye. The reason why he would say so much was to relay a message before he recognizes the girl. It's not that the medicine sect didn't want her, rather it's because they didn't know about her existence. Originally Bai Yan was still ignorant of what the old grandpa was implying and didn't think much of that speech, but after hearing the cues shooting her way, the woman's face promptly went stupefied and gawked. After seeing the cue of the young woman understanding, a slightly excited luster swiftly takes over the old man's face. My granddaughter, Bai Yan, is the biological daughter of Ninger, the blood heir of my medicine sect. Boom! As if being smashed in the head once again, the crowds were all ready to faint over this shocking news. The news that Bai Changfeng wants to announce is not to accept Ying as a granddaughter, but instead to recognize Bai Ning's biological daughter? So that's why. Lu Zhong's surprised face didn't hold any calm by this point, only a gleeful excitement of overjoy. I knew the young lady looked familiar, it's not without reason. This is all my fault. I should have recognized the young lady long before this even took place. This genius who can refine spirit booster Dan Pill is Bai Ning's daughter. She's our medicine sect's true heir. Ha ha ha, this is truly a wonderful news. At this moment, Ying was shaking so hard that she had literally crumbled to the floor. The girl wants to climb back up, sadly none of the people nearby was willing to lend a helping hand. Bai Yan is the daughter of Bai Ning? No, it's just a coincidence that her surname is Bai, she couldn't possibly be Bai Ning's biological daughter. Something is wrong about all this. Due to how loud her murmuring voice was, it had mistakenly fallen into the ears of some of the occupants nearby. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. No, Bai Yan cannot be the medicine sect's big lady, I am supposed to be it. Curling herself into a fetal position, Ying had to gnash her own teeth to avoid having those tears swell out of those eyes. If Bai Yan is the big lady of the medicine sect, then what I said, wouldn't it be a total joke? What is going on here? Bai Changfeng tightens his old brow and asked indifferently. The one to answer was Lu Zhong, his voice with unstoppable excitement. Just now Ying said that you promised to let the young master accept her as his goddaughter. We actually believed her, however. Ha ha ha. The red-robed elder didn't bother to hold back at all and burst out laughing his ass off. The tone was harsh and insulting, constantly slapping the greedy bitch's face with every echo. Showing amazement then, when did I ever say something like that? So what if I made such a promise? Besides, I only agreed if I didn't have a third-generation heir. As everyone can see now, my granddaughter is here so none of that applies. Indulgence with the face slapping, 22. It's just that there's no way Bai Changfeng would admit such a thing in open public. That's why it's going to be the Yi family who's going to take the blame for this fiasco. Sect leader is wise. The yellow-robed elder's old face was brimming with excitement then. Rubbing that fist of his, the senior didn't forget to shoot a sinister glare over to the old shrew. I just knew the Lord wouldn't be so muddle-headed that he would make such an irrational decision. Our medicine sect have an heir, so why should we take in an outsider? Moreover, young master is still young, so there's no way he wouldn't find a suitable marriage prospect. These people must be trying to curse him, that's why they are so certain there wouldn't be any heir. Old Madame Yi ignored the comment but still shot a killing glare to the elders before finally landing on Bai Yan's body. Brother-in-law, this girl cannot possibly be Bai Ning's daughter. Her heart is cruel and sinister, she doesn't deserve the status of being the big lady of the medicine sect. Only my Inger is qualified for that post. Shut up. Not bothering to wait for Bai Changfeng or his son to lash out, Lu Zhong of the Elder Council have already had it. Screaming with his throat screeching, "Blasted old hag, how dare you! It's one thing that you are always making trouble, but now you are also questioning the Mrs. identity? Milord, I propose we kick these people out of the medicine sect and never allow them to step foot in here again." That's right. You not only eat ours, take ours, and even use our influence to take advantage of others. Now you actually have the audacity to falsely accuse our miss of being a fake. I won't continue to stand for such cancerous accusations. These leeches must be driven out of our medicine sect. Sect leader, you must drive these people out, otherwise I will resign myself from being an elder this instant. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. The angers were of the same accord across multiple members of the Elder Council, thus shocking Bai Changfeng greatly in their activeness. Shouldn't these guys be trying to determine my granddaughter's identity first? Why are they being so excited when they didn't even see the evidence Jianghu prepared for them yet? This is too unreasonable. Lu Zhong, tell me what's going on here. Facing the red-robed elder, Bai Jianghu asks with confusion in his voice, why are all of you so convinced when I didn't even show you the proof of the blood connection? Brimming with excitement and totally lacking in his usual calm and stable demeanor, the elder promptly replied, young master, you remember the recipes we got our hands on recently, the 5 that were especially difficult to solve? Well, the miss have already solved them and created the Dan pills to show the public. She's a true alchemy master. The Dan pill recipes? Those 5? This news immediately raised waves across the elders that came with Bai Jianghu. They shuddered and cast their conniving eyes over to the woman in question. If one didn't know better, one might just assume they're hungry wolves confronted with a piece of juicy red meat. This undoubtedly didn't go unnoticed by Bai Yan. Subconsciously, her feet had taken a step back out of fear for those glaring stares. Don't be afraid, mother. It was then that Bai Xiaochen got in front of the woman to shield her. I will protect you from these people. Mother is mine. I'm not going to give these old baddies any chance to steal her away. At the rear of the venue, Ren-Yi had just finished rushing down from the high platform where the VIP seats were located, but that's when he overheard the horrific dialogue. Without bothering to think his words through, he broke out into a frantic run at Bai Changfeng's face. I'm going to kill you bastards. How dare you try to steal my disciple? Boom. Talk about fast and furious. Ren-Yi held nothing back in that punch. Arg, you not only cursed at me, you actually dared to hit me? Bai Changfeng's angry now. Raising his hand to defend himself, the old grandpa takes his own stance. Don't think I'm afraid of you. Even if your lord came in person, he would still have to be polite in my presence. Yet you not only hit me, you also yelled at me. Indulgence with the face slapping, 23, Ren-Yi sneered. I'm not just going to yell and beat you lot, I'm also going to have the Holy Land declare war on your sorry asses. Bai Changfeng's dumbfounded now. This old fart wants to declare war on us? What sort of crackpot is he smoking? It's not like I cheated on him with his wife or something. Did he lose his mind? Then again, the act wasn't all that far off from the fact. For someone like Ren-Yi who treats Bai Yan as his greatest treasure, stealing the girl was akin to stealing his life or even worse. You just wait, once I go back, I will tell the Lord immediately. The Holy Land must go to war with the medicine sect. Glaring fire at Bai Changfeng, the flustered and ranting elder then ran back to Bai Yan and the little steam bun. When he did so, the snarling annoyed face was promptly replaced with a genuine smile. Oh my precious disciple, don't let these cheating old liars deceive you. You mustn't believe in any of their lies. He then points to the group of the jaw-dropping people in the background. Disciple? So in addition to being Bai Ning's daughter, this woman is also the disciple of the elder of the Holy Land? Yi Ying could barely keep herself from suffocating as a result of the intense stinging in the wretched girl's heart. Why? Why are all of the benefits going to her only? I won't accept this. I'm not going to accept this. Clenching that bruised-up fist, Yi Ying's iris was burning with resentment that surprisingly matched well with the distorted face of hatred she had on. Yan Yan is the disciple from the Holy Land? Bai Changfeng instantly turns to the guard behind himself. Why have you never told me this fact? The poor soul just felt wronged. My lord, you said not to disturb you under any circumstances, that's why no one told you. You dimwit. Bai Changfeng instantly slaps the trembling guard into a spinning roll. Granddaughter, I am your grandfather, your real grandfather. You must believe me. This old fart Ren-Yi is the real one who lies. Glaring back at the accusation, I'm going to flatten your medicine sect for trying to steal my disciple. Ho, the old grandfather huffs a grunt. This time I don't need you declaring war on us. My medicine sect will do it instead. How dare you try to steal my granddaughter, and to stop her from recognizing me? What, do you think just saying so is enough? I'm telling you now. My disciple is most important to our holy land. Not only does our little princess have to follow her around, even the Lord has given her the holy island as a gift. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases, and what of it? I can give the entirety of my medicine sect to my granddaughter. I like to see you fight with me on that. Also, the facts won't change. Grinning like a brat, Bai Chang Feng taunts the other side like someone who's asking for a beating by jumping up and down in glee. While the two old-timers were going back and forth with their bickering nonsense, Bai Yan on the other hand literally wanted to face-palm herself from embarrassment. This was particularly true when her real grandfather said the last part about giving her the medicine sect. It literally made her complexion go from black to green. As for Ren Yi, the second elder of the Holy Land was literally regretting right into his stomach by this point. If he had known things would turn out like this, then he would have never allowed Bai Yan to come over. Now he's paying the price like someone facing retribution. You just wait, I'm running back to get the Lord. I will have the Lord come deal with you bastards for stealing my disciple, Arjit Sheikh. Ren Yi and Jing Qi promptly exchanged a look, indicating to each other to move right away. However, before they could even take a step, Bai Yan's hair-raising and huffing voice had drifted over from behind. First Shifu, second Shifu, are you two done playing around yet? Ren Yi sounded nervous like a wife being caught hiding some pocket money. Did I do something wrong? That's right, did he do something wrong? All this old fella wanted to do was to avoid having someone else steal his disciple away. Grandchefess, mother is very angry right now, so I suggest you both be quiet for now. Blinking his big blue eyes, Bai Shechen offers up his advice without minding the fact that he's the youngling and not the elder of the family. Indulgence with the face slapping. 24. Both elders were shaken by that comment. Making a wronged face, they didn't dare to move an inch. Alright, be good and stop making trouble. Seeing the sulky faces of her two shifus, Bai Yan knew she's being too harsh. Softening up that face, she pats them both on the head like a parent. When I finish up the matters here, then I will teach you the key points to those alchemic recipes, alright? Really? Ren Yi's eyes lit up and excitedly rubbed his hands together. After saying this, Bai Yan then turned around to confront Bai Chang Feng's gaze while ignoring all the rest. Bai Ning is my mother? She purses her lips and asked. Yes, Bai Ning is your mother and my daughter. Seeing how his granddaughter was willing to take the initiative to talk with him, the old grandfather would of course be delighted. This could be reflected in the burning brilliance within his iris. And what about her? Towards this rumored mother, Bai Yan would very much like to meet her. But according to the news she's gotten, her supposed mother has been missing for many years. And sure enough, Bai Chang Feng's complexion promptly turned into a saddening color. I haven't seen her for more than 20 years. I thought she had passed away, but your appearance has given me hope. I believe she is alive like you. Even if it takes up the remainder of my life, I will still wait for her to return. Tomorrow, Bai Yan's eyes were as bright as the twinkling stars. Can you tell me about her? A mother, the said entity has always been a part of her dream. Back in her previous life on Earth, Bai Yan's mother had died early, long before she could build a strong bond with the woman. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine how emotional excited she was to have a second chance. Yes, yes, yes. Due to how excited his old heart was, Bai Chang Feng could only answer with that one word. My precious granddaughter, if anyone dares to bully you in the future, then come back to me. Grandfather here will help you beat them to a pulp. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Bai Yan's eye literally twitched over that statement. Am I the type to tattle to their elders? No need. Compared with complaining to an elder, I prefer to do it myself. Bai Chang Feng first became stunned, then he lets loose a bellowing and hearty laugh. Ha ha ha, that's my girl. This sort of personality is exactly like mine during my youth. Ho ho, Ren Yi immediately cuts in with a sneer. That is my precious disciple, what does her personality have to do with you? The old elder promised Bai Yan not to cause trouble, but that didn't mean he wouldn't ridicule the other side when he could. But since Bai Changfeng's mood was extremely good right now, the lord of the medicine sect actually ignored the rude remark and kept smiling. This face, this aura, it's so much like Ninger. No matter how much I look at it, it's simply not enough. Yenner, Bai Zhanpeng then walks up with a bright smile of his own. We meet once again. However, this time you can't address me so formally anymore and must call me uncle. Uncle? She was definitely taken aback somewhat but quickly changed it to a genuine smile of warmth. Uncle. Aha, all moved in his voice, the man had to take a good moment to get his emotions back in order. Rubbing the woman's head like a good elder of the family, good girl. Uncle didn't prepare anything special for this meet, but here's a jade ring. It's something your grandfather handed to me. Now, I will hand it to you. Taking that ring made out of pure jade, Bai Zhanpeng then carefully places the item into Bai Yan's hand. This ring is an heirloom of our medicine sect. It's said that there's a hidden secret within the ring, but that's a secret you will need to figure out on your own because neither I nor your grandfather knows what it is. The members of the medicine sect on the other hand were all shocked over this sight. Lu Zhong and his faction of elders were still fine since they support this outcome, but CEO Wang only had despair left in his old eyes because he knew exactly what this indicated. Indulgence with the face slapping, 25, no, this jade ring cannot go to her. Old Madame Yi had just finished lifting up her granddaughter from the floor when she saw the event. Gnashing that teeth, the old shrew didn't care anymore and roared out, even if she really is Bai Ning's daughter, she is still a female and not qualified to be the medicine sect's heir. Humph. Bai Changfeng's face got cold as his eyes grew increasingly annoyed by the woman. You say my granddaughter is not qualified, then who is? Cocking that fat chin, of course it's Minger. A woman only needs to be a good wife and mother at home, why should she be throwing herself out into the public's eye? The medicine sect will definitely fall into ruins if she takes over. If that's the case, why not give it my grandson? No matter what, he's still a man and deserves it. Hiss. The people were aghast by the statement, their looks filled with shock at the old shrew. Who gave this woman such courage to say something so damning in front of the Lord? Seriously, is she really expecting Bai Changfeng to give the medicine sect to an outsider over his own granddaughter? As for Bai Changfeng, the true lord of the medicine sect, he's livid at this point. From red to green, then green to blue, he's ready to lose it. Slamming his fist against the old tree nearby, the old grandfather completely destroys the trunk and allows the bulk of that body to come crashing down at the impudent old shrew. Of course, there's no way old Madame Yi would just stand there to take the blunt of that fall and dodged quickly to one side. However, as a result of this, it was Ying who ended up suffering because she couldn't move to begin with. Brother-in-law, what are you doing? The old lady was shocked. Indicating to the two men that came with them, what are you still standing there for? Hurry and come help my granddaughter out from under this tree. If anything happens to her, I will have both your heads. But they didn't move. The two guards are members of the medicine sect and the reason why they would push Ying over earlier was to suck her up to the girl. Now that they're aware of Bai Changfeng's true attitude towards this family, there's no way they would continue to show a good face. In the end, no helping hands ever came, leaving the old shrew and her girl without support. Brother-in-law. Old Madame Yi was now huffing and puffing after seeing how much suffering Ying was going through. What are you doing? You watched Inger grow up in person. How can you treat her like this over a wild child? Lu Zhong and his group were now shaking their heads at the blatant ignorance. This old shrew is truly stupid beyond reason. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Ying on the other hand wasn't as stupid as her own grandmother. Tears running down from her eyes out of urgency, she wanted to get out of this mess to soothe the situation. But she knew it's going to be hopeless, not after those damning words. Ho ho, Bai Changfeng's laugh was menacing and filled with mockery. So you are implying I should throw aside my own granddaughter and turn to protect Ying? That's right. The old shrew's attitude alone was enough to make the man want to slap her across the face. Are you just that stupid, or do you take me for an idiot instead? Clenching his fist, the old grandpa roars out furiously. This is my granddaughter, my own. Who is Yi Ying? She's only a girl from your Yi house. Why should I cast aside my own flesh and blood for her? Also, when have my medicine sect become someone else's? When have you become the one in charge? Indulgence with the face slapping, 26. Though embarrassed, old Madame Ye's mouth continues to work. Why do you have to get so nitpicky about the details, or are your feelings for my sister all fake? Is this how you treat me after she's gone? Tired now, Bai Chang Feng painfully closes his eyes for a good moment before finally shooting them open. If Jing'er knows about the way you are treating her granddaughter, then I'm sure she will support my decision. In a wave of his hand to order the guards, take the members of the Yi family away and expel them from my home. I never want to see them again. Wait. Lu Zhong hurries to cut in, my lord, there is still one matter we haven't settled yet. What is it? Bai Chang Feng's cold face just became a dreadfully icy one, his voice dangerously angry. What is going on? Say it. The hell? All I did was have a fight with those two old farts. What did I miss during this short period? As a result of that extreme fright from being pointed out, the man from the Moon Slicer sect promptly plopped to the ground. His face and body showing utter terror. This is not my fault, it's really not my fault. Just now it was Yi Ying who came to seek me out. I'm only doing what she instructed. I really didn't mean to accuse the lady. Please, please let me go, I'm begging you. After saying that, the man then repeatedly banged his head for forgiveness until his forehead's bleeding. No one said anything in the venue. It's so quiet that even the bristling breeze could be heard. But more than the eerie silence, they're more preoccupied with looking over to the certain maiden that's being pinned to the ground by the collapsed tree. Lord Bai, I know I am wrong. It was Yi Ying, it was her. She seduced me with pretty words of her becoming the future heir and that I would be able to become a member of the medicine sect. I was stupid, that's why I made such a mistake. Please give me another chance. I beg you. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. He didn't say it at first, mainly due to his assumption of Bai Yan not daring to kill him for it, but also the reassurance of Yi Ying saying she would protect him after the incident. But now, there's no longer that insurance. Bai Chang Feng on the other hand hadn't said a word since the truth came out. However, the old grandpa's aura alone was enough to send those nearby shirking back in fear. It seems that over the years many of you have gotten the idea that I'm no longer in charge after not taking part in the daily functions of the medicine sect. Still expression and unreadable, ignoring the fact that Bai Yan is my granddaughter, even if she is not, I would still not permit such a thing to happen while under my rule. Blood now completely leaves the kowtowing man's face. Since you made the mistake, then your own sect can deal with you. Guards, drag him away and hand him over to the Moon Slicer sect. Bai Chang Feng's voice now grew mountainous, crushing the person's spirit until he barely breathed. Please, please, have mercy. I know my fault. The kowtowing motion only increased in pace as he begged on the floor. Indulgence with the face slapping, 27. The expression of the man grew even more flustered as he knows full well that if he's handed back to his sect, they would never let him live. Tow him away. At the order, two guards promptly moved forward to drag the man's struggling body away, his appearance now looking no different from a rabid dog. I had only intended to expel you three out of my home and that's it, but to think there were so many things you did behind my back. Bai Chang Feng's sneering face couldn't be any more obvious. When did my medicine sect become your family's? Or do you believe I'm so old that I'm already dead in your eyes? His words were meant for Yi Ying and her grandmother, but also as a warning to the rest of the people with ulterior motives. Great-grandfather, the soft voice of the little steam bun dissolves the anger from the old grandpa. Blinking those big innocent eyes, this bad woman wants to steal away my father, and she even said my mother is not worthy of him. Also, she has a brother who insulted mother that she can only be his concubine. You must beat the bad people, otherwise I won't recognize you. The old grandpa's complexion fluctuated intensely right there. Nevertheless, he still manages to suppress the anger and forced out a loving smile in order to not scare his great-grandkid. Good child, just wait for great-grandfather to get even for you. As reassurance, Bai Chang Feng then rubs the boy's head to show how much he cares for him. A person who only knows how to loaf around my home actually dares to steal my granddaughter's husband? Ha ha ha, as the master of this place, how come I didn't know the Yi family's influence is to such a degree? The elders present could definitely feel the Lord's anger now. Silent and not moving, none wanted to provoke the raging lion in his furious state. How laughable. To think all these years none would tell me about any of this. Inhaling deeply, Bai Chang Feng's voice grew stern and harsh. Since they committed the crime, then it's only proper that they pay the price. Someone come, break their legs and throw the 3 members of the Yi family out of my home. They can fend for themselves out there. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. In the past, old Madam Yi never trespassed the limit of his patience, that's why he never really punished any of them. But now, Bai Yan was his bottom line. There's no way he would allow anyone to humiliate or bully the granddaughter in which he went through so much to retrieve. So what if they're related in some way? Screw that. Humph, at least you did one thing right. Ren Yi snorts from one side. If no punishment were to be given today, the second elder would have definitely taken matters into his own hands and disposed of the Yi family afterwards. But now that he's seen Bai Chang Feng do it, his old heart definitely felt better. No. Yi Ying's pair of eyes were popping bigger than what's normally possible. Trembling all over, please, I know it did wrong. I beg of you, granduncle, let me redeem myself. I can be Bai Yan's slave and do anything she asks. Are you trying to continue to pester my old pops by sticking to my mother's side? Though innocent and melting in his voice, Bai Shechen's question was right on point. Making a guilty look in her eyes for a brief second, Yi Ying nevertheless presses it back in and pushed forward with her lies. I really didn't mean it like that. I know I'm wrong and is just trying to ask for forgiveness. I'm willing to do anything she asks. Indulgence with the face slapping, 28, Bai Chang Feng was honestly regretting right now after seeing how the shameless girl was still trying to scheme when things have progressed to such an extent. Back then, what was I thinking? What sort of drug did I take to let these people move into my home? I must have been crazy. Mother, Auntie is right, we should have fed the bad woman to the demon beasts. Bai Shechen mutters this with discontent. I don't want to see her again. Although the little steam bun still hasn't fully accepted Di Tsang, but still, he's not going to permit another woman marrying his old man. Yi Ying's body shook. Covering the resentment in her eyes, she continues to put on a pitiful face. Miss Bai Yan, I'm really not trying to steal your man. If I go with you, I can even help you look after him so he doesn't sneak away to nab a fish. What man out there in this world doesn't like to steal a bite? Especially the good-looking kind. Bai Yan didn't respond to the girl's words, instead she only made a shallow smile, for she could already sense the familiar scent coming right behind herself. Di Tsang, someone is saying bad things about you. What do you think, should I believe it? Bai Chang Feng naturally didn't miss this scene. Going green on the spot like he's seen a horror show. Zhanpeng, this guy is my great-grandson's father? It is him. The son's affirmative nod only made the old grandfather's face uglier than before, because it now means he's lost his granddaughter before he could even have some sweet family time. Brother. Di Shaowan puckers her lips in indignation. This woman is still trying to have wishful thinking about you. Are you just going to stand there and let sister-in-law suffer? I really don't know how Yi Ying can still say something like that earlier when she's already stuck in such a situation. Originally the man's aura was like the splitting breeze, enchanting and soothing. However, it swiftly changed to an extreme cold version after hearing the girl's word. Before Yi Ying could even say more, an intense stare has already swooped over her existence and cuts it off like she's had a frog jump in there. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Why does such a man have to like her and not me? Biting those lips hard, the bitch was oozing with resentment as her fist clenched into a tight ball. This kind of woman, Di Tsang's then reveals a malicious grin, is better off dead. Is better off dead. Why? Why are you, trembling in disbelief? Yi Ying's very existence was filled with fear now. Slandering me in front of my wife is punishable by death. Making a sneer, the man then casts a glance to his sister, Xiao Wan, go drag her away and toss this girl into the demon forest. The demon beasts in there will entertain her. Literally jumping 3 feet into the air in glee, brother, you are thinking the exact same thing as me. I also think the demon forest is the best home for these people. Finally, Yi Ying's struggling body has finally given up. Going numb, she had the look of panic and desperation when turning to Bai Chang Feng for help. She's praying that the last ounce of relationship she shares with the old grandpa would help in this case. Sadly, all this is your own self-doing. Bai Chang Feng didn't budge. Indulgence with the face slapping, 29, boom. The last line of defense in Yi Ying's heart finally shatters as well. Squatting there on the ground, she makes a heart-wrenching screech as tears of blood oozed out of those eyeballs. Pull her away so she doesn't make a scene here. Wrinkling his old brow, Bai Chang Feng waves his sleeve to signal the guards. Yes, milord. At that, 2 men promptly stepped forward to drag the injured bitch from underneath the collapsed tree and out they went. You go and keep an eye on them too. Make sure they do it right. Di Tsung also shoots a look at his sister, indicating her to move it. The demon princess then swears by it by patting her own chest. If any of those brats dare harm my friends, then I will have brother deal with them. Awesome. In response, Chu Yi shouts with glee in her voice, those eyes sparkling with light. These 3 girls are obviously more interested in the demon beasts rather than wasting their time at the venue here. After a while, they were already gone and out of sight. Baddie father, Bai Shechen's big eyes were dripping with water as he spoke. Yi Ying also has a brother named Yi Ming. He's the other person who came to make trouble for mother from before, and guess what? He said mother can only be his concubine and nothing else. Di Tsung's face instantly darkened and released his suffocating aura across the entire venue. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Let him go accompany his sister then. Since they are so lacking in partners, I'm sure the residences inside the demon forest wouldn't mind keep them company. After the 2 finishes with their experience, they can then be used as food. The man's words were so frightening that every individual present were shrinking their buttholes in. They knew exactly what Di Tsung meant by experience, and neither male or female would like to go through such a traumatic thing. Bai Shechen would of course be pleased by this. Jollying in his steps, the boy intends to personally pass on the message to his aunties so they wouldn't let Yi Ying and her family have an easy ending. A humph, it was then Bai Chang Feng decides to interrupt the awkward mood with his cough. Yenner, why don't you introduce this man to grandfather? Oh, only then realizing her lack of manners, the reddish figure puckers her lips like a child. Him? He is my son's easy-to-come-by father. Shechen's easy-to-come-by father? This, what sort of introduction is that? Bai Chang Feng was gobsmacked by this. Only after a good moment of gawking did he return to his old jolly self. Yenner, can you stay longer? In a few days it will be grandfather's birthday. Originally Bai Yen had intended to leave right after the convention, but now that she's been informed of the celebration, she simply couldn't say no. Okay. It doesn't matter if it is delayed for a few days. Besides, going to the demon realm can be done at any time. Di Tsung didn't object either. The man knows how important this must be for his future wife, hence the blossoming smile of wondrous beauty. Lord Bai, congratulations on finding your granddaughter. After all the dust has settled, the people of the various powers were all moving forward to give their words of praise and flattery. This granddaughter of yours is truly beyond compare. Indulgence with the face slapping, 30, all of you have good eyes. My granddaughter really is astounding and unprecedented. Laughing aloud without care, Bai Chang Feng happily accepts the compliments. If it was in the past, these people would have at least secretly called this old grandpa shameless, but now, they couldn't because Bai Yen was in every sense of the word, excellent. Humph. Ren Yi, second, grumpily huffs a snort, what are you all so happy for? Yen is my disciple first. In any case, she will always be our most precious disciple. Zhengqi, first, slightly raises a smile as well instead of going all huffy and grumpy like his second brother. He's not angry at having to share his disciple, he only wants to give the girl his blessing. Fine, I'll leave things be then, Ren-yi sighed. It's just that I have been robbed by this old fart several times before, so of course it will leave me with a bad taste. But, if it's for my precious Yenner's sake, I will accept it. However, if the medicine sect tries to stop her from leaving or try anything against her will, I won't let things slide. Grandfather, Bai Yan were all smiles. When is your birthday? Even now, the old grandfather's excited mood hasn't slowed down in the least, to the point where he had to wipe away some of those trickling tears when no one's looking. Right, I remember Zhangpeng said that the woman who adopted you is called Lan Yu? Is it the Lan house from the Luhua kingdom? Let's do this then, you invite those whom you wish to come and we will treat them as guests of honor. Okay, Bai Yan's smile was now reaching up to her eyes. Old Grandpa Lan is also my grandfather, his status in my heart will never change. Just that his temper isn't the best and has a proud nature to his personality. I hope that everyone from the medicine sect could accommodate this when he comes. Oh yes, there's still Her Highness the Dowager. Thinking it through, she continues to go down her list. As a result of an incident in the past, it was only she and my disciple Nangong Zhuan who stood by my side when not knowing about my identity. Grandfather, could I also invite them both here for your celebration? I owe her a favor. For the sake of her too shiftless face, Bai Yan didn't divulge about the embarrassing matters regarding the things related to the Holy Land. However, the Dowager's kindness has really touched her heart, so she couldn't ignore this. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Putting the icing on the cake is extremely easy, but adding coal to the fire in the winter snow is not so simple. The friendship between you two is commendable. Bai Chang Feng nods in approval. This birthday celebration is mainly to bring you back into the ancestral books and allow others to know of your status. If you wish to bring someone you are familiar with, then by all means, grandfather here has no complaints. As for that old Lord Lan. Halting his words then, the old grandfather then eyes the crowd with a look of stern seriousness. He is to be treated in the same manner as I. Whoever dares to offend him will receive severe punishment. If it hadn't been for the Lan house and their kindness, then perhaps my granddaughter would have already perished from this world. That debt can never be repaid with something so meager. Yes, my lord. All of the members of the medicine sect answers in unison, their voices resoundingly loud and crisp. In the same way, Bai Chang Feng words today have directly become a declaration to the other powers that old Lord Lan was to be treated like the man himself. Otherwise, it's a direct affront to the medicine sect of the highest order. Must not offend the Lan house. Must not offend the Lan house. These were the only thoughts running through these attendees' heads right now. Mustn't provoke the Lan house. 1. In recent days, the Lan family seems to have hit a string of bad luck lately. First it was the female ruler of the Feng Qi kingdom taking a liking to Lan Shaoling, the eldest grandson of the Lan house. But after the boy rejected her, the female queen then went ahead to declare it a national offense, thus creating a huge rift between two kingdoms. As to the other incident, it had much to do with Lan Shaoyan, the second young master of that family. The righteous boy somehow got caught in a dispute with the young lord of the Blood Moon sect and ended up breaking the other person's leg. To be clear, the public was already being quite considerate out of Bai Yan's existence. They are well aware of her relationship with that family by now and of how the girl's not the biological daughter of Lan Yu, making her an unknown factor. If something were to break out, no one knows whether or not the woman would help or not. Right now, Lan Shaoyan was currently kneeling inside the main hall with his head held low. The boy's awaiting judgment from his grandfather, so the place was dreadfully quiet. Father, this isn't entirely Shaoyan's mistake. Who could have guessed that the young lord of the Blood Moon sect would try to rape a girl while inside our kingdom? When Dong Rulan saw how her son's being kneeling there for a good half hour, the kind woman definitely felt distressed inside. However, since the grandfather hasn't said a word, she didn't dare to help. Am I angry because he hit that cockroach? Old Lord Lan's expression was hard. Being a man, one should have blood in their veins. That is fine. I don't believe Xiao Yan is wrong on that end either. What I am angry about is the boy being so rash. What if that person brought along helpers from the Blood Moon sect? Xiao Yan, by then not only will you not be able to save the girl, you will also drag yourself down. The boy's head only grew lower. Grandfather, I know my fault now. Since you know your fault, then do it right next time. When you get into a fight, come back first and tell me, understand? Grandson understands. The boy knows his grandpa was doing this for his sake, fearing he would suffer while outside. But he's a man, an upright and good man. If he sees a thug trying to rape a girl in open public, then there's no way he could remain indifferent. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. If I can't do as my heart tells me when injustice is before my eyes, then I don't deserve to protect this kingdom. If you understand, then that's good. As for the young lord from the Blood Moon sect, what's done is done. If they do come back to make trouble, I will hold them down. It doesn't matter anyways, I'm already an old bone. Slowly getting up from his master chair, old Lord Lan's face was firm and resolute. Dong Rulan had a look of worry. Father, should I go tell Yenner about this matter? If she comes back, then the Blood Moon sect should back off. No one can go. Old Lord Lan roars out instantly. Yenner's achievement today didn't come easy. Our family couldn't help her at all, so we mustn't be her baggage. I've inquired around already. The Blood Moon sect is a subordinate power of the medicine sect. Are you planning to pin the girl against a behemoth like that? But father, while she still wanted to say more, the old grandfather has already cut her off. I won't allow us to drag Yenner down. It's not easy for her to have such strength. This time I will be the one to bear the repercussions. At this moment, old Lord Lan's figure seems to have aged again. No longer straight or stoic in his back, the old man slightly camels down like a weak elder, thus causing the young boy to hurt immeasurably inside. Lan Xiaoyan doesn't regret hitting that cockroach from the Blood Moon sect, nor does he regret getting reprimanded, but mustn't provoke the Lan house, too. But now, he's found that grandfather has aged more than he thought and still needs to wipe his own ass afterwards. For that reason, his heart grew incredibly uncomfortable. Mother, am I wrong in all this? Lan Xiaoyan's voice devolved into a whimper. Startled over her son's question, Dong Rulan deflates as well. If you have the strength to back up yourself, then anything you do is justified. But if you don't, then you will only drag your grandfather down. Strength. All of this is because of strength. Lan Xiaoyan couldn't help but clench his fist in frustration. For once in his lifetime, he's never desired strength this hard before. Blood Moon sect. Sect leader, the two guards who brought the youngster back shivered hard. It's the Lan house. Lan house. Originally Lu Yang was still fuming in that second, however, the anger was quickly transformed into uncertainty. Which Lan house are you indicating? There is just no way around it. That word is like a taboo, so I must make sure. Reporting to sect leader, the one who injured the young lord is the Lan house's second grandson, Lan Xiaoyan of the Lu Hua kingdom. First it was green, then to white, then it was to a reddish-purple color of extreme fright. The family you're talking about, do they have a married-off daughter by the name of Lan Yu? The guards were surprised and met the man's eye. How did sect leader know? Yes, there is a Lan Yu. That Lan Xiaoyan injured the young lord, this debt. Bastards. Lu Yang's hand was crunchingly loud when he smashed it into one of the guards' face. Sect leader. Holding that bruised-up cheek, the guard looks up in confusion. Get this twerp to stand up right this instant. Why is he acting dead in front of me? If he's going to make trouble, then he better go solve it himself. Don't go dragging our Blood Moon sect with him. In his fit of rage, the master of the place ended up kicking his son Lu Su repeatedly until everyone was gawking their eyes now. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Arg. This twerp has always been a troublemaker, but why does he have to go provoke the Lan house? That is the Lan house. The lord of the medicine sect have already spoken that the old chief of that family must be treated like the man himself. Yet this insufferable twerp just has to go provoke the number one taboo right now. Slowly coming out of his dizzying state, Lu Su still hasn't gotten enough time to figure out the current situation when a storm of punches came flying down at his body. Father, what are you doing? Ah! Don't hit anymore. I am your son, your son. The boy's shrieks from the pain added to his already injured leg. I'm wishing with all my heart that you are not right now. Lu Yang shakes profusely due to the seething anger. Look at what you've done. Why did you go mess with the lawn house? Why did you have to go provoke the lawn house? Lu Su became absolutely stunned by his old man's outbreak. Father, what's the matter? It's just a tiny little family in the Luhua kingdom, what's to worry about? Oh, I know, you must be worried about that granddaughter Bai Yan. There's nothing to fret. The girl may be in name part of that family, but she's not a biological one. They have no blood relationship. Besides, we are working under the medicine sect. Lu Yang didn't even want to waste his energy on this nonsense. Whipping his sleeve at the boy's head to give him a good smack on the back end, you will go this instant to apologize to the lawn house. I'm telling you, if you become the cause of the Blood Moon sect's demise, then I will never let you go. Mustn't provoke the lawn house. 3. At the same time, within the palace of the Feng Qi kingdom, a certain beautifully dressed woman was currently loafing around on the dragon chair with some wine in hand. Due to the person's lazy demeanor, the fluid was constantly dripping down the corner of those blossom lips as she gorged herself. Lan Shaoling, what's so bad about me that you must keep rejecting my advances? Am I not beautiful enough, or am I not outstanding in your eyes? If I am not good enough, then I can change. I can make myself more perfect. Yet you don't even give me a chance. Majesty, a eunuch hurriedly walks in from the front, his voice urgent. The first elder seeks an audience. However, before her words could be passed on to the person in question, a white-robed elder have already walked into the main hall. Arching his hand, my queen. Ho, Feng Wan snarls sardonically, who are you calling queen? I can't even decide my own marriage, so what point is there in me being in this post? Why don't you go find another to take up this spot so I can go chase after Shaoling? I need nothing, only his company as we wander the world freely. That's right, this ruling position didn't bring comfort for the love-struck girl, only binding rules and constraint. My queen, my visit today is only to ask you one question. The elder didn't get angry at all. On the contrary, he seems quite pleased instead. Do you really like that Lan Shaoling? Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Making a self-deprecating smile at herself, Feng Wan's sorrowful face grew more apparent. I have known Shaoling for 8 years and have loved him ever since. For him, I'm willing to keep my harem empty. But what's the point when he doesn't love me at all? Taking another sip from her wine cup, originally, I thought even if he doesn't love me, he would still hold some affections. That's why I threatened him not so long ago. But now, not only did he not answer my plea, he's now completely ignoring me. Did I not do enough? I can change, I really can change. If he's not willing to marry into the Feng Qi kingdom, then I can abandon this post and go to his home. As long as he says it, then I will. My queen, if you want to go to him, then go. I will find someone to safeguard the kingdom while you are gone. The old man's iris flashed meaningfully as he spoke. Pung. As a result of that statement, the wine jug that was already wobbling constantly by the chair handle have now smashed onto the floor, causing a pungent smell of alcohol to stain the hall. Do you really mean it? Feng Wan's surprised face shoots up with excitement, causing that beautiful face to turn dazzling. Of course I mean it, the old man gives a mild nod. I had intended earlier to fulfill your wishes after learning of Bai Yan's status within the Holy Land. Shame that news broke out. The woman's not a genuine daughter of that Lan house, that's why I wanted more time to think about it. Mustn't provoke the Lan house, for, prior to everything, Bai Yan did not have any communication with the Lan family and only ever made contact after she returned with her son. That's why no one could figure out the relationship between the two parties. But, the old man dons a shallow smile. Just the other day I have managed to get wind of some new information. What information? Feng Wan grew a tad irritated at being baited. There's no question she wants to know the secret. After all, it couldn't be anything small if it could change this old fart's opinion to such extent. I heard that Bai Yan's biological mother is Bai Ning of the medicine sect, the young lady of that power. Due to the woman being missing for many years, the lord of that place is now showing immense gratitude to the Lan family by issuing a decree. Anyone who meets the old family chief of that household is now to treat the elder like the lord himself. My queen? Wrinkling that old brow, the elder seems to not understand the lack of response. When he was but a young master of the Lan family, all of you were preventing me from going to him. Now that his family is with background, you are pushing me to him. Even if you can be this shameless doesn't mean I can. The elder's complexion completely changes. My queen, this is a golden opportunity. Enough. I don't want to see anyone right now. If you want me to continue staying inside the kingdom, then don't bother me. After saying this, Feng Wan was done speaking with the elder and closed herself off. In light of the blatant dismissal, the senior nevertheless continues to pester the woman until he too was at a loss. In the end, both parties separated on negative terms. After the footsteps faded away, Feng Wan slowly opened her eyes and picked up the wine jug, Shaoling, perhaps we really will have to go our separate ways in the future. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Back at the beginning, it was everyone else who deemed Lan Shaoling to be too inferior while she herself didn't care. But now, the situation has been reversed and it's herself who's not worthy of him. Lan House. Lan Shaoling was currently looking up into the open sky as if he's thinking of something. Big brother, it's unsure when Lan Shaoyan had come, but the second grandson had somehow managed to sneak up behind his brother's back in the main courtyard. Are you thinking about her again? I'm sure Her Majesty is only saying those words in a moment of heat. She doesn't mean it. After all, the both of you have been friends for so many years. Retracting his gaze, the troubled boy turns to his younger brother. About the matter of you injuring the young lord of the Blood Moon sect, is grandfather able to handle it? One person's fault is one person's responsibility. I don't need grandfather to clean up after me. Lan Shaoyan's voice turned hard. If nothing else, I will give him my legs and that's that. Grandpa is so old already, how can I bear to have him continue working so hard? What's more, the disaster is caused by me, I won't ever regret it. Do not worry, Lan Shaoling then pats his younger brother's shoulder. I will not turn a blind eye to this matter either. As long as the Lan house is around, then no one can hurt you. But, big brother, the boy still wanted to speak but was cut off by the other side. You are my younger brother, so your mistake is my responsibility. What's more, one cannot be too timid when representing our family. You did no wrong. Also, if you had turned a blind eye to something like that, then I really would have looked down upon you. By Changfeng's birthday, Lan Shaoyan only grew more remorseful. If not for me, then perhaps the whole family wouldn't have had to worry so much. Young master, young master. It was then that a servant came running over, his breath panting still from the rush. This isn't good, young masters. Someone big is happening. What? What happened? Both boys were startled by that. Is it the Blood Moon sect? This possibility promptly causes the second grandson to drop a rock into his heart. Nevertheless, the fear quickly changed to a firmness never before seen in the boy's eye. Let's go, we will see first then decide. Patting his younger brother's shoulder, Lan Shaoling attempts to reassure the other side with his soft voice. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Giving a nod in return, Lan Shaoyan hurried to follow his older brother and the messenger. Main reception hall. Old Lord Lan was currently gawking his eyes out in his master chair due to the impressive number of treasure boxes displayed before his very eyes. Grandfather, what is going on? Lan Shaoling asks, his brow furrowing hard at the odd scene. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. At the moment, the old house master was still clouded in a mass of fog, that's why it took him so long to respond. However, before the old man could say a single word, another servant of the household has already run over in haste to report. Milord, the elder of the Shadowless sect is wishing to seek an audience. Shadowless sect? A series of hissing sounds were filling up the place, as well as looks of surprise in the two brothers' face. Isn't it supposed to be people from the Blood Moon sect? Why is it the Shadowless sect? Xiaoyan, did you go and provoke them as well? Lan Shaoling's complexion was seriously not looking so well at this point. The Blood Moon sect is hard enough to handle, now there's a Shadowless sect. It seems we can't keep this matter from Bai Yan after all. I haven't had time to tell you boys, stuttering, the old grandpa couldn't keep his cool at all. These things are all sent by those second-rate sects of the mainland. Skipping a beat at his grandfather's word, Lan Shaoling widened his eyes in shock. Why would those sects send us gifts? What is going on here? I don't know either. Old Lord Lan also makes a frown then. Perhaps they've all gone crazy. Apart from this reason, he really couldn't think of any other reason. Just as he was discussing the reasons with his grandsons, the elder from the Shadowless sect have finally stepped into the main hall with the gift in hand. I'm assuming this must be Senior Lan. Senior Lan? Old Lord Lan was seriously taken aback by the form of address. Whether it be strength or seniority, the other side was by far leagues ahead of himself. Twitching in that mouth till it's now showing an awkward face, I am not worthy of such seniority, but do tell your reasoning for this visit? No, your position in our heart is well deserving of being called senior. Making an awkward laugh himself, the elder from the Shadowless sect hurries to get to the point. I'm here to bring gifts and to congratulate your family. Now old Lord Lan was getting more and more confused because it's one thing if only a single person came, but so many at once. There's no way this could be a coincidence, thus making his heart more and more anxious by this point. Senior, you wouldn't mind me calling you senior, right? Mind telling me what is happening? Why are all the powers out there sending my family gifts left and right? By Changfeng's birthday, too, you don't know? The elder from the Shadowless sect exclaimed with amazement in his eyes. Did the medicine sect people not come to you yet? The news has spread across the whole continent already, and the hottest topic was of how fortunate the Lan family was in getting such good luck. But more than that, they're also making sure to convey one message in their conversations. It's better to provoke the Underlord than the Lan house. That's why the various powers are coming in droves to offer their gifts to this family. They don't want to leave a bad impression. I don't know anything. Old Lord Lan rolls his eyes. I only know that before you arrived at my home, I kept getting gifts sent to me by various powers. Don't tell me you are here to thank me for my grandson's act of beating the young lord of the Blood Moon sect, right? What does this have to do with Blood Moon sect? The guest raises a brow at the odd question. But before the miscommunication could be cleared up, it was then the servant who retreated earlier came running back. Not good, chief. The Blood Moon sect's people are here. The old grandpa literally jolted out of his seat. Where are they right now? In the end they are here still. The servant quickly gives himself a wipe to clear those trickling sweat. They want me to present this visitation letter to you first. Visitation letter? The old man's expression quickly shifted from a stern one to a stunned look. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Just like their grandfather, Lan Shaoling and his younger brother was also looking at each other in shock. When did the Blood Moon sect become so polite that they would first send a visitations letter before coming to settle a score? It couldn't be, they want to first show politeness before drawing the knife? Let him come in then. In the end, old Lord Lan ends up doing as expected while rubbing his hand in a perturbed manner. If it's going to be a knife regardless, then let's get it over with directly. Yes, chief. After getting the order, the servant then hurried to retreat. Minutes later, a middle-aged man could be seen walking in with a crowd of followers behind his back. As a result of this domineering lineup, the occupants inside had to take a good moment to realize there's also a stretcher in the back as well. In fact, if not for the constant moaning and groaning of the boy's painful voice, old Lord Lan would have completely missed it entirely. Lord Lu, seeing the intense air from the group, old Lord Lan knew this couldn't be good. Though his heart was also nervous and unsettled, he nevertheless presses on. This is indeed the fault of my grandson, however, your son isn't entirely without fault either. If he didn't. Bang! But before the old grandpa could finish his words, Lu Yang have already instructed his men to stop and put the stretcher down. Roaring now, what are you still lying down there for? Hurry and get your ass off of it. Stiffen his old face over the picture. What sort of situation is this? Isn't Lord Lu here to demand punishment for his son's injury? Yuyua. As a result of being thrown off of the stretcher, Lu Su's injured leg ended up making a severe impact on the floor. Father, Bang! Another stomp comes flying down at the injured boy's back, causing him to issue out a long wailing howl of agony. How could I have given birth to a coward like you? To think my son would do something like raping a maiden in broad daylight. Hurry and apologize to Chief Lon this instant. Whether he wants to beat you or punish you is all up to his decision. Screaming and bashing, Lu Yang's appearance was the epitome of a father enraged by his son's poor behavior. However, old Lord Lon clearly knows that the Blood Moon sect wasn't the reasonable type and the counter-opposite of a righteous faction. By Chang Feng's birthday, 3, after all, if the other side was so righteous in their manner of doing things, then there wouldn't be such a cockroach among their ranks. Can anyone tell me what happened? Why are all these powers acting this way? Did they all get knocked on the head or something? Senior, Lu Yang grumpily shoots a glare at his own son before turning back with a flattering smile. My useless son is truly outrageous. But since I've already punished him, I'm hoping Senior could have leniency when carrying out your side of the beating. After saying this, his sight then shifted to Lan Xiaoyan with a smile as well. This must Senior's second grandson. Look at how promising he is, truly a figure of upstanding nature. My son made a terrible mistake a couple of days ago, but thank goodness you were there to stop him. The lesson is a good one, a great one. Allow me to extend my gratitude for the lecture you instilled upon him. If it weren't for Lu Yang's sincere look, then perhaps Lan Xiaoyan would still believe the guy was faking it and inwardly cursing and yelling at him inside. The grandpa frowned. I have seen my daughter's letter, but that doesn't change anything. Yenner will always be my family's granddaughter. Why do you ask? Did she get into some sort of trouble while outside? If so, then it's also my fault for not disciplining her. If you people want to make trouble, then send it my way. No, the elder hurriedly shook his head. Senior Lan, don't misunderstand me. What I want to say is that Bai Yan's biological mother is Miss Bai Ning, the long-lost young lady of the medicine sect. Boom! These words were like thunder, sending the entire Lan household asunder. Bai Yan's biological mother is Miss Bai Ning, the missing young lady of the medicine sect? Now the grandpa remembers. According to his old memories, his daughter Lan Yu did have a friend by that name long ago, just that the name didn't ring any bells until now. Is what you saying absolutely true? Trembling right down to his fingers, everything seems so surreal to this old grandpa. But what does this have to do with my Lan house? The fact that Bai Yan was the disciple of the Holy Land elders didn't change much when it became public knowledge. The reasoning being the girl's not a genuine child of the Lan household. Of course, old Lord Lan would be pleased that the girl could find her biological family, but that doesn't explain anything about the change in attitude from everyone. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Of course it does. The elder makes a rather frank laugh like he's quite amused by the situation. Miss Bai Yan declared it already, saying the entire Lan house is to be invited to Lord Bai's birthday celebration. And as a way to please his newfound granddaughter, Bai Chang Feng has made it publicly known that you are to be treated with respect. Whether it be the members of the medicine sect or the other powers out there, the rule applies to everyone. And if anyone dares to refuse this order, they will become the enemy of the medicine sect. That's a declaration directly from the Lord himself. After saying that, the elder from the Shadowless sect then sneaks a peek at the muppy-looking man from the Blood Moon sect. Misunderstanding, this is all a misunderstanding. Sweating profusely, Lu Yang attempts to downplay the matter. My son is indeed immature and ignorant, Sir Xiaoyan beat him good and proper. From now on the citizens of the Lu Hua Kingdom is my Blood Moon sect's responsibility. What happened that day will never happen again. By Chang Feng's birthday, 4, and Lu Yang then puts on the most pleasing smile one could make. I will take my son to apologize to the girl and make compensations. Would that be fine? Due to how muddled old Lord Lan's brain was still at the moment, he had completely missed everything the man said and only nodded to the question like a machine. Seeing this, Lu Yang finally issued out a relieving sigh. Glaring at the guards behind himself, what are you bunch still standing there for? Hurry and drag this brat to the girl so he can apologize. This will be your lesson. If I hear another incident like this in the future, then I will break your legs for good." And as if his words weren't enough, the man swiftly raised another stomp at his sons, but to send him flying out the door. So close. My blood moon sect nearly got destroyed because of this useless son of mine. Oh, thank goodness that Lan Xiaoyan isn't injured, otherwise who knows what the medicine sect would have done to us. Turning around again, Senior Lan should leave as well. But be assured, if there is anyone who dares to cross your family in the future, then you just need to say the word. My blood moon sect will unconditionally come to your aid. Cross? The elder from the Shadowless sect couldn't resist a smirk. Who in their right mind would want to cross this family from now on? Besides, if the Lan house really is facing trouble, why would they need you to help when there's countless others more willing and more powerful to step in? Senior Lan, I will also take my leave then as well, since I've brought the gift as per my lord's instruction. When the time comes, I will be sure to greet you at the medicine sect. Ha ha ha. Once again making a jolly laugh like when he first entered, the elder from the Shadowless sect soon left, leaving behind his gift just like the rest today. Still muddled and dazed there, old Lord Lan eventually issued a lamenting sigh. Xiaoling, Xiaoyan, your aunt has done many wrong things in her life. She handed all of the Dan pills the family saved to that ungrateful bastard, then even in death she never returned to us for help. However, she nevertheless did one correct thing in her life, and that is to take Bai Yan in as her own. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases in the years where Lan Yu was still alive. Bai Yan was undeniably the most favored daughter of the Bai house, where both father and mother showered the girl with love. But good times never last. As the old saying goes, a stepmother could never truly take in one that's not her own. It's too bad that bastard died too early, said Lan Xiaoyan with a sense of injustice. If that bastard is still alive right now and learns of Bai Yan's identity, then he would be regretting it even more than he did. It was Bai Zhengxiang who lost the young lady of the medicine sect, and it was he who also turned Bai Yan into his enemy. Imagine the man being still alive right now. It's almost certain he would be green with regret by this point. If I remember correctly, it should be Nangong Yi's execution date in 2 days. Old Lord Lan suddenly brings up the topic after some musing. We can pass this information off to him. As stern and upright as this old grandpa may look on the outside, he's in fact very biased when it came to his own family. I will do it, Lan Xiaoling preemptively offers to take the job after some contemplation. Nangong Yi is already judged with treason, just that His Majesty wants to keep him imprisoned until a later date. Even if the main conspirator was Bai Ruo and not the former crown prince, Nangong Yi nevertheless still had a hand in it. There's no way he could shirk off responsibility. By Changfeng's birthday, 5, more importantly, Nangong Yuan, king, knows that if he doesn't deal with Nangong Yi, then it would likely offend Bai Yan. As such, he could only personally sentence his own son to death for the sake of himself. Fortunately, there are still 2 days from the date of the execution. Nangong Yi, he can suffer for the remainder of his time in this life. That's what Lan Xiaoling thought, wanting to get some payback. The dungeon's a cold and damp place. By no means was it a comfortable place, evident by the countless flies hovering around the former crown prince's body that's currently huddling to one corner. Nangong Yi originally couldn't stand such drastic changes to his lifestyle, but anything would become the norm after so long in here. Did any of you hear about the news? All of those third and second-rate powers out there are coming to give gifts to the Lan house in droves. They say each of the boxes are holding priceless treasures. Che, who doesn't know this yet? Pretty much everyone in the kingdom and the whole land is booming with this news. Lord Sung's wife is the granddaughter of the Lord of the Medicine sect, and that the lady who left the girl behind to Miss Lan Yu is in fact the young miss of that power. Now, as gratitude for the care they gave Miss Bai Yan, the Medicine sect is now openly shielding the Lan house with their influence. Not only that, because of the Dowager and Prince Zhuan's good relationship with the lady, they're now invited to the Medicine sect's upcoming birthday celebration for the Lord. It can be said that our Luhua kingdom is now on a whole different level compared to our neighbors. Just as the 2 prison guards were at the height of their discussion, that's when a painful and heart-wrenching howl broke in. What is doing now by screaming like that? One of the guards asks, his brow furrowed into a knot. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases, probably fear I'm guessing. He only has 2 days before his execution. Forget about him, let's continue where we left off. Back over in the prison cell, Nangong Yi was currently holding his head in a painful manner as tears of remorse trickled down his side. Bai Yan is the granddaughter of the medicine sect. The words from the prison guards were like haunting echoes, constantly ringing inside his ear until he nearly broke his teeth by gnashing down in agony. Bai Yan was supposed to my wife. The glory of the lawn house is supposed to be mine. It was me who threw all of those away. This is all my own doing. Ha ha ha. The crying didn't stop, however, it did eventually evolve into a hair-raising laugh that creeped the hell out of everyone else. Bai Yan, if life could be rewind. I will never give up on you again. In that split second, everything in his life seems replay itself like a drama show before his very eyes. And it was also at this point where he realizes how much he missed, how much he lost, and how much he pushed away. This erratic behavior naturally drew in the attention of the prison guards who's still discussing the topic. Shaking their head upon coming to check, this once glorious prince really have gone crazy now. What do we do now? The shorter guard turns to his companion and asks. What can we do? Let's go and report this to the young master from the lawn house. If we can somehow please that family, then we won't have to worry about being picked on by others again. That said, the 2 men then happily strolled out of the dungeon, leaving behind nothing but the erratic laughter of the former crown prince and his remorseful self. By Changfeng's birthday, 6, ever since Bai Yan's return to her ancestral roots that day, the group that's the happiest had to be the Elder Council of the Medicine Sect. In fact, these old geezers have been ignoring their daily tasks for the past couple of days and would hound around the woman to ask her questions about alchemy. 1 or 2 days wasn't a big deal, but after some extended duration Bai Changfeng has had it. Giving the order, he declares that none was to disturb his granddaughter out of petty jealousy. He intends to monopolize the girl's time so they could bond together and catch up on the missed time they lost. However, rather than just bonding with her genuine grandfather, Bai Yan was more interested in her mother's story during these past few days. According to the information she got from everyone, Bai Ning was an outstanding and talented young woman whom disappeared over 20 years ago. Since then, the missing person never returned and left no clue as to her whereabouts. If not for Bai Changfeng insisting that his daughter's still alive, the other members of the medicine sect would have likely set up a tombstone for her by now. CEO Wang, what are you doing here? The yellow-robed elder Tian Xian had only intended to walk past the place when he noticed the odd sight. CEO Wang's face blushed red from being caught and didn't know how to answer his peers' questioning. Are you looking for the lady? Tian Xian's brow tightened hard at the idea. Didn't the Lord declare no one is to come bother her? Now that Bai Ning's no longer around, there could only be one lady, and that was Bai Yan. Making a deflated face, I don't want to disturb her either, I just want to apologize for the mistake I made before. Ho ho, Tian Xian scoffs a sarcastic laugh, so not being a dog of Ying now, eh? CEO Wang's body naturally stiffened at the remark. In fact, his shame was so bad that he could literally dig his own head into the dirt and stay there. If you had known it was wrong, then why did you do it? Sighing at his companion's remorseful face, the yellow-robed elder shakes his head. It's best you leave now. If the Lord finds out you are stalking the lady's residence, then you might not even be able to keep your head at this rate. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. But just as the elder was ready to leave and move on with his business as intended, Tian Xian suddenly remembered something else. Stopping again, also, the punishment for the things you did during the alchemy convention is already decided. The punitive hall will soon hand the judgment into your hands, so I suggest you be good and stay out of trouble during this period. Be glad that your life is intact. That said, Tian Xian then swiftly walked away without looking back. In this moment, CEO Wang simply couldn't hold back his remorse anymore and firmly grasped onto his chest in agony. Regret. He truly regrets it. If he had known Bai Yan was Bai Ning's daughter, then he never would have followed Ying. But time doesn't turn back and one couldn't undo their regrets. For better or for worse, CEO Wang would have to bear his own mistakes and live with it. Whether he learns from this folly was another matter and another story for a different time. By Chang Feng's birthday, 7, inside a certain pavilion located within the courtyard, Bai Yan was currently lying on the bench in a lazy manner when she sensed the familiar scent behind herself. But before she knew, a naughty pair of lips have already kissed down at her own to smother it with love. She's of course both annoyed and angered by this overreach of personal space, but that instantly changed when those eyes flicked open to see the reflected face. It's dangerously handsome under that setting light of the evening sun, so much so that she literally skipped a beat from the daze of the moment. "What are you thinking about?" The man's voice sounded low and mesmerizing as he pulled that reddish figure into his embrace. "I was just thinking about." Arching a devious smirk, Bai Yan looks up to meet those eyes. "In the demon realm, I wonder how many of those demonesses are willing to jump into your bed if you asked." "Probably all of them, right?" That remark didn't sit well with Di Tsang at all. Making a frown, "I only need you. As for the females in the demon realm, I need none of them because they can't even compare to a single strand of your hair." Grabbing that ill-behaving finger, Di Tsang decides it's time he showed some masculinity by putting on a convincing voice like he would have it no other way. "You took away my first time, so you must take responsibility. I won't give you the chance to leave my side, not now and not in the future." During that entire speech, the man's eye only reflected her and nothing else. As a result of this, Bai Yan actually felt flustered and didn't know how to react. This man is too dangerous. I mustn't let him into my mind like this, otherwise I will be in trouble. "Don't be afraid," Di Tsang's voice keeps cutting into her head like a haunted ghost trying to break down those walls. Looking up again, "Oh, and what am I supposed to be afraid of, you say?" Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Don't worry, you will be the mistress of the demon realm when we return home. If anyone dares to cross your path, then you can just kill them directly. If not, then you can also turn them into your slave. You can do as you please with them. I'm sure you will have plenty of things to do with those whom you don't like." Bai Yan's heart actually shook hard over that statement, for this was the first time a man had said they would support her in such a way. "Tomorrow is my grandfather's birthday. I need to go prepare for it." Breaking free from the man's grasp, she then tiptoed her feet to give a counter kiss on the other side's lip. Boom! Di Tsang's reaction was explosive at first, then it was an absolute sheet of nothingness in the head until he eventually came back to his senses. Grinning mischievously like a fox, he promptly gave chase to pull his woman back in to have another go. However, this time instead of a simple peck, it was a hearty French kiss where their tongues mingled and played together for a good minute. "Now that's enough." Eventually letting go, these were the first words he had for Bai Yan once he's satisfied. By Chang Feng's birthday, 8, "Batty father, you are bullying mother again." Coming from behind was the soft voice of a certain little steam bun. Aware of this, Di Tsang immediately swung around to find his nosy son hiding behind one of the doorways with a certain little white cat in his arms. "If you have wife in the future, then you will be the same." Since the man was still in a good mood after having his way with his woman, he didn't pay any heed to that remark and ignored the rudeness. "I don't want any wifey," puckering his lip, Bai Xiachen didn't agree at all with his old man's belief. "And even if I did, I won't hurt her like the way you are doing it. Instead, I will love and keep her safe from baddies." "Younger sister." These two words practically caused the baby boy's eye to sparkle with hope. "Am I going to have a sister very soon?" Di Tsang answers seriously, "Very soon, that's right. After returning to the demon realm this time, he will have his wife give the boy plenty of little sisters." That, biting his lip in deep thought, Bai Xiachen apparently had trouble deciding on who to side with, a sister or his mother. Can Batty father be gentler with mother next time? "You always bite mother. It will hurt her." "I want a little sister, but I don't want mother to be hurt either." "You will know when you grow up, and I am not biting, it's kissing." Puckering that lip to the side, Bai Xiachen didn't buy the explanation at all. "Batty father is a liar. He clearly bit mother and I saw it." Now it was Di Tsang's turn to cast some doubts over his own behavior. Is my actions bullying? Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Batty father, I am not a 3-year-old child anymore, you can't keep fooling me. Puffing those cheeks, the little steambun's face looked adorably red at the moment. Well, the fact that you are not a 3 years old is true, you are a 6-year-old child. Gawking that mouth in grievance, Bai Shechen seems to have hit a sore spot for some reason. Can I tell mother that Batty father is bullying me again? Do you still need something? Asked Ditsang, who saw his son still lingering around. Frowning then for a good moment, Bai Shechen suddenly issued out a strange sigh. Mother once told me a story about a place called Earth. She said that she knew a person in that place. The girl's parents were very loving at first, but that ultimately changed in the end when the girl's mother's side of the family got into trouble. The father hesitated at that time, fearing the trouble would also drag down his side of the family as well, leaving the girl's mother to fend for herself. I don't understand the story honestly, but Batty father, I would always see tears coming out of mother's eyes when she tells me this story. Tearing up now, Bai Shechen looks up with those glossy eyes at his old man. So this is why your mother refused to accept me at the beginning? Making a bitter smile in return, Ditsang finally understands. Mother is afraid of being abandoned like the girl in the story. Batty father, you wouldn't be as unreliable as that man, would you? Firm in his voice, Ditsang answers with absolute certainty, no. Even if it means betraying the world, would never betray her. Then I will give mother to you. Bai Shechen's face appeared somewhat sad when making that statement, however, he did relent eventually. She is my most important woman, and if you bully mother again, I will take her away and go find Godfather and make her leave you for good. By Changfeng's birthday, 9, gladly giving his son a pat on the head. And how are you supposed to know who your most important woman is when you are only so old? What's more, I will not give Chu Yifeng the opportunity. My woman will only love me. I of course know, Bai Shechen said it with such surety that it's hard to doubt his claim. Mother is my most important woman in this world and my most favorite woman in this life. Anyone who dares to bully mother will bleed for it. Despite his young age, the little man was already starting to show off his domineering style. Exactly like his old man's. As expected of my son, says this with a smile on Ditsang's face. The demon realm will be yours in due time. When the time comes, I can take your mother out to travel the world. The dream may be nice and wonderful, however, that did not sit well with the baby boy at all. Collapsing in his face like he just stepped on shit, Bai Shechen puts on a miserable and desperate look. Can you not? Fine. Really? Lighting up in the eyes, the boy looks on with hope. After your mother gives you a little sister, then we can go for a younger brother as well. When I pass the throne to you and you don't care for it, you can pass it on to your younger brother instead. Why not directly to my sister? Puckering his lip to the side in discontent, Bai Shechen didn't get the gender inequality. Now it was Ditsang's turn to raise a brow like he didn't expect his son to ask. That's because being the king is too tiring. A wave of malice seems to be swarming over the boy's head at the moment. It can't be, a son is only used for squeezing and a daughter is used for spoiling? This is really unfair. Well, are you willing to let your sister work hard? Casting an inquisitive look to his son, Ditsang actually wanted to know the opinion of others for once. Stumping for a moment, Bai Shechen had to spend a good while biting his thumb in contemplation. I don't. Alright, let's have mother make a younger brother too. When you squeeze me, then I will squeeze my little brother. Despite his will to hold back that laughter of his, Ditsang simply couldn't when seeing the kind of face his son was making. It's downright adorable and deserving of a hugging kiss if Bai Yen was around. Batty father, you wouldn't be only trying to coax me into lying to mother so she would have kids with you? Finally noticing the oddity in his old man as well, the boy suspiciously eyes the guilty suspect. Of course not, turning stern and losing his smile. Besides, if you don't help me, then the burden of leading the demon realm will fall on you. Instantly showing a deflated demeanor, let's have mother make a little sister and brother then. Yes, this is the perfect outcome. While Batty father takes mother to travel the world, I will take sister and tag along from behind. He can forget about ditching me by then. Ditsang makes a proud smile. then you need to help me some more by getting your mother to give you more siblings. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. While the devious Demon King schemes to get his wife into his bed, the son on the other hand was having a tough time swallowing the demand. Didn't we agree before that I won't have to help? Also, why do I keep getting the notion that Batty Father is trying to coax and trick me? Batty Father, biting that little lip, when are we going to the demon realm? After grandfather's birthday. We will go back by then. Talk about saying it like a done deal. Loud and crisp, Di Tsang's proclamation as Bai Changfeng's grandson-in-law has now been openly taken despite everyone's lack of knowledge. That is mother's grandfather. When did it become Batty Father's? Wide-eyed in surprise, Bai Xiaochen didn't get what his old man was doing. Father, I know you want to use me to get into mother's bed. However, you can't just kick me aside once you succeed. I want you to promise me this before I help you. That quickly brought on a frown onto Di Tsang's face. Am I the type to kick someone aside after using them? Bai Changfeng's birthday, 10, and also. Who told you that I want to climb into your mother's bed? Auntie, of course. Due to his innocence, Bai Xiaochen has mistakenly brought disaster upon the demon princess who only wanted to do good. Good. Di Tsang's tone promptly got frosty for a brief second there. Very good. I will remember her work. For the baby boy, he naturally wouldn't miss the strange anomaly. Giving a shiver, why do I feel like being remembered by Batty Father is a very bad thing? Achoo. I'm guessing it's your brother if anything, Chu Yi notes from the side and earns a horrid response. I hope it's not him and someone else. The demon princess shudders at the thought. Being missed by my brother is too scary. Xiaoyun. It was then that Chu Yi caught a glimpse of their long-awaited guest from afar. Look over there, it's your family. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases lighting up at that info. Lan Xiaoyun didn't take much to notice his grandfather leading the pack over to the position. Making a cute and excited face as she waved at them, grandfather, elder brother, second brother. Her actions immediately caught the attention of the party. You are all finally here. I and cousin have been waiting forever for all of you. Making a cough to clear his throat, the one to speak out was old Lord Lan. Let's go, I want to meet Yenner. By the way, explain the details to me about what's happened thus far. All right. Watching as the family group went ahead before themselves, Di Xiaowan suddenly turns to his rival friend Shu Yi. I heard your holy land is in the same league as the medicine sect around here. How come your side didn't send people over for Lord Bai's birthday? Of course it's not like that, my brother merely doesn't like to show himself before the prearranged time. Stretching those beautiful arms out against the open sky, Chu Yi doesn't seem to be satisfied with her teasing yet. Let's go back and rest, I'm sure your own brother is already looking for you. This promptly raised a sour face onto the demon princess who instinctively stopped herself from walking. Do you even want me to go back anymore? Why are you trying to scare me so much? Humph, that's because my mood is not happy. Who can you blame but yourself for being Bai Yan's sister-in-law? I was supposed to be in that position. All droopy in her eyes now, Chu Yi stares directly at the demon princess, like you would understand my emotions? Despite my fondness for Bai Yan, it's you who got to be what I wanted. So, what's wrong with scaring you? If I don't scare you a bit then I can't soothe my annoyance. Fine. Out of consideration for your bad mood, I will overlook it this time. All smiles now, Di Xiaowan happily cocks her chin high into the air like the winner. However, that was a mistake. What are you still standing there for? Seeing her friend not moving still, Chu Yi decides to shoot another killing blow to hurt her counterpart. If you don't move it then your brother might just come out here in person. By then the consequences would be far worse than just making him wait. Shuddering in cold sweat at the terrifying thought, Di Xiaowan ended up running over in haste at the end despite her hesitation. Finally, the day for Bai Changfeng's birthday has arrived and so did the curtain become drawn for the glorious era of the Lan House. Whether it be the members of the medicine sect or other powers invited to attend, everyone was showing absolute respect for the old house chief and his family. Return to the demon realm. 1. in particular were the two unmarried young masters of the Lan house. Since they still needed a proper wife, it's no wonder the female disciples, from young to old, would swarm around the boys like moths to a burning flame. Because of this incident, neither brother would dare to step out of their rooms and cause them to miss the rare opportunity to explore. Fortunately, the date of the celebration was at hand, thus allowing the two siblings to heave a sigh of relief. Night time. The lord of the demon beast sect has arrived. The elder of the misty fairy house has arrived. The Holy Land's young lord. Numerous announcing voices were abnormally crisp and clear despite the vast number of sound signatures in the air. For everyone else, this was undoubtedly a day worthy of celebration and a joyous occasion. Yet it was Bai Yan herself who seems to be the most restless as she eyed the outside for some unknown reason. "Cousin," it was just then a voice comes up from the back. Turning around, she looks up to find a familiar figure. "Second cousin, something wrong?" Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Well, Lan Xiaoyan calmly nods. "I know you are waiting for your brother. I want you to know he's already left." Left? Bai Yan's palm immediately fell into a tight clench of discomfort. He left? Why? Where did he go? The boy's the first person she met when she fell into this strange and unknown world. And it was also he who gave her warmth and unforgettable care when no one else would. Now that she's able to give him a stable life, he leaves. Why? For what reason? Little cousin asked me to pass on a message to you. Bai Xiao said you are growing too fast and too high, so much so that he couldn't keep up at this rate. Therefore, he could only use his own method to catch back up to you and not be left behind. A sheen of complicated emotions ran through Lan Xiaoyan's iris after those words. He also said you are the one he must protect with everything he has in this life. When he's grown and strong enough, he will surely return to your side. Bai Yan's heart trembled at that notion. Pursing her already dry lip, that silly boy. Cousin, you don't have to worry about your brother. He will take good care of himself. If fate permits, we will meet again very soon for sure. Lan Xiaoyan was honestly in pain over Bai Yan's saddened face. I believe in Shower. My brother will always be the best. That's right, one day he will return home to my side. Let's go. Not waiting for the boy to speak first, Bai Yan decides to take the lead. My grandfather's birthday feast has begun, let's go inside. But before she took the last step inside, the woman didn't forget to cast one final glance at the darkness of this night. Brother, I believe in you and that we will meet again very soon. Somewhere inside a secluded valley, the stars were exceptionally bright as they twinkled with light. Bai Xiao, what's wrong? The young man further ahead of the pair asks his companion. Nothing, it's fine. Let's go. The other teen replies like it's nothing despite looking over in the direction of the medicine sect. Do you really want to go to that place? I say, we should just lose the idea. That place really isn't suitable for anyone. You should return to the demon realm, too. I'm set on this. The teen's eyes were firm and unyielding. You only need to lead me there. When the time comes you can stay outside and wait for me. Nonsense. When the friend heard this, he immediately grew angry. Am I that type of person who only knows how to cower away in front of death? If I'm brave enough to enter the dragon's den, then I sure as hell would go with you. Against his friend's words, Bai Xiao only grew more firm, like he's even convinced his choice today was the right one. Wait for me, sister. Once I have enough strength, then I will definitely return to protect you. When the time comes, I will let you see a brand new me. On the day of the birthday celebration, everything went as smoothly as one could hope, thus signaling the time for Bai Yan to leave with Ditsang for the demon realm. However, Bai Changfeng didn't know this until the last second. In the end, the old grandpa cried his hearts out with tears flowing and even managed to infect his great-grandson to cry with him. If not for Bai Yan moving quick to nab Bai Xiachen away with her, the baby boy would have agreed to stay. No. Ditsang outright refuses the request. There's good reason for his firm answer. Instead of crying out with a plead like Bai Yan's subordinate there, Mo Li Shang, new teen, on the other hand, has been tailing the family from behind in silence like a pitiful pet not wanting to be abandoned behind by his owner. I will be back very soon, you two stay here and wait for me. Bai Yan didn't want to hurt these two but figured it's best she didn't bring them either way. They're simply not fit to accompany her on this journey. Tearing up hard now, when Ru eyes the woman like he's just faced the biggest indignation. Yenner, you couldn't be abandoning me again? I can cook, clean the cat, and I can also warm your... But before that last tidbit of the sentence could be said, Ditsang have already made his mad dash by rushing in front of the teen. In one swift grab of the collar, the Demon King unkindly tosses the challenger into the far-off horizon until that figure was nothing but a spot of light. I alone am enough to warm her bed. Aside from murder and fighting, he has no other talent with the exception of being the bed warmer. But now even that's being robbed from him. Of course Ditsang wouldn't tolerate such insolence. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Uncle Mo, Bai Shechen finally speaks up after the small charade. The place Mother and I are going is somewhere Uncle can't go. However, I will miss Uncle a lot, so wait for us. Against that soft and cuddly voice, that glistening babyish eye, Mo Li Shang simply for the love of God couldn't say no to it. Giving a nod, okay. Mother, let's go home. Turning around, Bai Shechen makes the cheekiest smile to his old man like someone trying to gloat. Go home. Despite being looked down upon, Ditsang didn't mind. Just those words alone were enough to send his mood into an absolute delight. Come, we will go home. Sweeping up the kid in one hand, he then grabs a hold of his wife's hand with the other like one big happy family. Ditsang, have you forgotten something? Furrowing her brow, Bai Yan asks with an unhappy face. Did I forget something? This time the man was honestly confused and lost by the strange question. It's Di Xiaowan. Gnashing her teeth like a lioness now, you forgot your own sister. This guy. Seriously, how can he even forget his own sister? Who knows if one day he would forget me and my son like so. Oh right, I seem to have lost her from my sight. Making a slight frown at the thought, Ditsang hurries to correct his own tone before he gets into trouble. Wait here for me then, I will go back and call her. Return to the demon realm. 3, okay, Bai Yan nods, I will wait for you here with Xiachen. With that promise made, Ditsang's small bit of unease has also left his heart as well. Letting the baby boy out of his arms, he made sure to rub that little head before disappearing from view. Due to his speed, only an afterimage remains. Demon Realm. While this world seems strange and eerie due to the blood moon hanging in the sky, coloring the terrain in an eternal red, the occupants of this land on the other hand was bustling with movement as a result of the state teacher's word. The king will soon return with the queen and crown prince. Counting down, the time is almost here. Hand against his back, the white-robed man had a surreally handsome appearance. If one had to describe him, he would be the only white lotus within a pond, independent without an ounce of tarnish. When bringing up the topic of the demon princess, the man's lip had inexplicably curled into a genuine smile over the girl's wayward appearance. Hope she's not making too much trouble outside, otherwise I will have to clean up her trail again like usual. But just as the state teacher was indulging himself in happy thoughts, a familiar voice suddenly cuts into his thoughts and broke that happy face. State teacher, I heard that His Majesty is coming back. The tone may only carry a hint of inquiry, even so, it's enough to cause a furrow to the other side. What are you doing here? Xiaowan doesn't like your presence, so you shouldn't have come. The receiver was a woman wearing a white long dress that held an extremely pure and beautiful appearance. If any random stranger were to get a look, they would surely fall heads over heels for this lady. State teacher, I only wanted to ask of King's status, there's no ulterior meaning. What's more, Her Highness is too immature. No matter what, we are still of the same kind. That's right, this lady was a fox, just like Di Xiaowan. The only difference would be their birth. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Just because she got lucky and was born into the royal family doesn't mean she's better than me. I will one day climb above that wench and make her kneel before my feet. You got some nerve talking behind the princess's back. A pang of frost instantly overtakes the state teacher's iris. Also, I'm making this clear now. This time the king is coming back with the queen and crown prince, so you can lose that wish of yours. With that said, a blast of power promptly flew out of the man's sleeve and sent the foxy lady flying until she had slammed directly into the supporting pillar behind herself. State teacher, you are misunderstanding me. Leaking a trickle of blood from the corner of her mouth, the woman persists to keep up the story. I only wanted to care about His Majesty's well-being, would never dare to badmouth the princess. You know your heart better than anyone. I'm giving you this final warning. If you take a single step out of line, then I will personally see to it that your entire clan pays the price. Upon those words, all forms of gentleness have left the man, thus causing the fox woman to stiffen up. If state teacher is not willing to say, then I will see to myself out. Who doesn't know the king is cruel and ruthless? Therefore, in light of many females being in love with His Majesty, none would dare show a speck of their true intent. Return to the demon realm, for I being no exception. But that doesn't mean I will just step aside for a woman who's likely the result of state teacher's doing. A flicker of light flashes in the woman's iris as she curled that lip into a snarl. Dealing with such a woman will be easy. There will naturally be others to take charge in my stead. Tiger Clan's residence. Inside the place, a certain young maiden wearing a yellow skirt was in such a rush that she ended up missing the person in front of herself. As a result, the girl nearly bumped head first into the other side. June Ruching, what are you doing? Squinting her eyes, she glares at the woman in front. The girl in the yellow skirt showed confusion at first but then quickly changed it to anger. What do you mean by this? My meaning is very simple. June Ruching squints her eyes and scoffs a chuckle. Do you feel it's right for a human woman to be by His Majesty's side? I heard that female is a real slut back in the human world, constantly hooking up with different males. From what I know, she's already had 4 men until now. But because of state teacher's word, Sire is convinced the woman is the most suitable for him. So, don't you think state teacher is taking our king for a fool? June Ruching's smile now deepened until it's blinding to the eye for some reason. Humph, I will go see the woman for myself when king returns. Biting her lip, the yellow skirt girl stabs her hands against the waist. I'd like to see what sort of ability she has to be picked by His Majesty. Inside the palace. A strong ray of light explodes out of the altar set inside the center of this grand structure, shrouding the entire demon world with its brilliance. Hail to the king, queen, and crown prince. Your subjects are here to welcome the royal family's return. Those standing there all took to their knees upon seeing the man's purplish figure and his 2 accompanying family members. This one next to me is the future mistress of the demon realm, and she will be the only one. Perhaps it's due to fear of Bai Yan being intimidated by such a grand reception, but Di Tsang's hand had inexplicably tightened around the females. Then again, there were no reason to because the ministers didn't object, only sharing a glance with each other like they expected as much. Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. In addition, the sound of the man's overbearing voice rises again in volume. In this demon realm, the queen's word is law, followed second by my own. You must all respect her and listen to her command. If there's any violation, then no forgiveness shall be given. Bai Yan's heart trembled at that proclamation, her palm also tightening against the man's hand in return. In the past she couldn't get a sense of security that one would hope from a lifelong partner, but now, she's feeling it and it's not such a bad thing. King's meaning is? It couldn't be, the queen's word is the rule and his own words is second fiddle? The ministers didn't expect this part from the man, so strange looks of bewilderment were being shared among each other. Sire, an old minister unsurely speaks up. If there's a conflict between your order and the queen's, who should we listen to? A chilly gaze shot over to him in that second, causing the old minister to leak out a layer of cold sweat. He knew his question was a mistake, so he didn't dare to look up anymore. Return to the demon realm. 5. It seems that my words haven't gotten through to you yet. The queen's word takes priority above all else, even if there is a conflict, the same applies. Shooting glares that could raise any spine in the recipient. What's more, are you implying I would get into a conflict with the queen? Are you trying to frame me? The old minister almost choked at that moment and nearly got to his knees again. King, you can't do this to others. I never said anything towards that meaning. Xiao Wan, Di Tsang then notices his sister who have already strolled over to the state teacher's side. Looks like you are already losing your patience and wants to be wed? That scared the daylights out of the demon princess. Making a sorrowful face, the pampered girl looks on at his brother like he's done the most egregious thing ever. Your sister-in-law is already very tired. You should take her to rest first. I and state teacher still have things to discuss. Shooting a warning glare at his own sister then, remember the words I said to you before coming back. That instantly causes the demon princess to light up because there's no way she would forget something so devious. Anyone who bullies sister-in-law is to be removed at once. He, this will be fun. You go back and wait for me. I will come back later. Pulling his wife closer, Di Tsang whispers this into that dainty ear and got a faint nod in return. Alright, I'll wait. After saying this, Bai Yan then releases her hand from his and picks up her son from the man's other arm. Xiao Wan, lead the way for me. Looking at the disappearing back of his family, Di Tsang's expression promptly got cold and dark as he scanned the welcoming committee. How are the preparations going for the war? Visit my site on Catranslation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Smiling still, the state teacher gives a nod of reassurance. I have already tossed the candidates in there for intense training, and the other preparations are well underway and near completion as well. Just that it's not easy to break the seal around our world. Sire, you must be prepared. No matter, the celestial realm will eventually be in my hands. Whatever she wants will be hers, I will see to it. King, state teacher suddenly furrows his brow a bit. There are a lot of women in the demon realm who is in love with you. I advise you to be careful lest the queen be wronged by one of those individuals. Only murder could be heard in Di Tsang's voice. In this world no one is allowed to harm my wife. Besides, Xiao Wan is with her. I'm very confident she will remove any who's dumb enough to trespass her way. Then just as the state teacher wanted to say some more, the cold-sounding words had once again rung out. Later, you go to do a statistic on the number of women trying to covet after the position of queen. After the statistic, they are then forbidden to draw close to the palace. If a single one of them breaks the rule, their legs will be the price. Stunned at first, the state teacher then made a wry smile of awkwardness. I just knew His Majesty would be like this. Whether it be the past life or this one, he's still acting the same towards the queen. This will be difficult to please. Oh right, retracting his focus from the matter at hand, I believe the marriage between you and Xiao Wan should be set as well. There were neither surprise nor unhappiness in the state teacher's eyes. However, the man was showing a strange look nevertheless. After a long moment of silence, did you get Xiao Wan's agreement? She has long forgotten about me. Now, me and her, I'm only the state teacher and a friend. Actually, sire, you don't need to do this for me, I only want to watch over her. In light of his words, an obvious level of pain could be felt from that tone. If she doesn't agree then I won't force it. She will agree, Di Tsang says it with such certainty that it's hard to resist. Report broken chapters. Return to the demon realm, 6. A look of surprised glee takes over the state teacher's face. Sire, you mean it? You mean what you say there? Di Tsang slowly nods. After I announce your engagement, the queen wishes to ask you some question as well. The state teacher was startled over that request, but that didn't last long before he returns to his old elegant self. I know what the queen wants to ask me. Sire, you can help me pass on a message to the queen and that should be enough. Some things are fated to be so I cannot say anything for now. Otherwise, it will directly affect her mood. Fine, I will pass on this message to Yenner. Also, my wish is to not delay the attack on the celestial realm. I want to use it as her bridal gift during the wedding. That only earned the overbearing man a helpless smile from the state teacher. Just attacking the celestial realm is hard enough. Now he wants to take it and use it as the wedding gift? Oh, things never change. White Moon Palace, a place where none has ever lived since the conception of the so-called demon realm. According to rumors, this location should be the best in all of this world, just that aside from the king himself and some maids in charge of the daily cleaning, none are permitted to trespass. But now, a new mistress has dawned on this tranquil structure. Sister-in-law, your palace here is so much better than my own. Slouching there on the comfy bed, Di Shaowan reveals a bright smile suitable for her own age. Can I stay here and not go back? Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases. Casting a look of confusion, the one to respond was none other than the little baby. Auntie, aren't you afraid of Batty Father coming to toss you out? I know he will if you try to stay. Twitching in the mouth, the demon princess immediately showed a grieving look. Sister-in-law, you would protect me, wouldn't you? Caressing her own chin over that plea, Bai Yan's iris was brewing with laughter. You can stay if you want, however. But before her agreement could be finished, the door to the room was suddenly barged open by an unknown hand. That naturally annoyed Di Shaowan, who had her conversation cut off, thus causing the girl to have that face sink a cold one. Xiaoying, how did you get in here? What were the guards doing in allowing you into the palace? I said that I came to find you, so they just let me in. Huang Xiaoying then cocks her chin before turning to Bai Yan with puzzlement. So you are the woman His Majesty brought back from the human world? Aware now that the opposition came with ill intent, Bai Yan ignores the question at first to pour herself some tea. And what of it? Seeing that calm reaction, Huang Xiaoying initially wanted to show some attitude. Well, that was until she noticed the little white tiger in Bai Shechen's arm. Oh, what a cute male tiger. In that split second her gaze changed. Huang Xiaoying, what are you doing here? Noticing the strange look from her friend by now, Di Shaowan hurries to block off her nephew from the intruder's view. I'm telling you now. Don't think for a second that just because you are my friend that I will allow you to bully my sister-in-law and nephew. If you try, then I will beat you to death. The demon princess then pumps a fist up to show off her menacing and dangerous side. Report broken chapters. Friends? How can a bond like that compare with a sister-in-law and nephew? This friend I can lose if must. What is the name of the tiger? Huang Xiaoying fidgets her body, that face totally lacking the steaming demeanor of her initial entry. Due to how off-guard little Rice was at being called out, he immediately jerked up with his fur raised. In a desperate attempt, the little feline promptly shrank into Bai Yan's arms like it would give him a higher level of safety. Mew mew, this woman's gaze is very scary. Brother never did like the silly type in a female to begin with. If not for me being his sister, he would have hung me out to dry long ago, so let's not mention this Huang Xiaoying. The mere sight of her would be disastrous. I want to know the identity of this tiger. Huang Xiaoying shyly lowers her head, that voice sounding embarrassed like a maiden in love. You wouldn't be trying to snatch little Rice, are you? Di Shaowan immediately levels up into a heated mode. I'm telling you this now, don't even think about it. This white tiger is my sister-in-law's contracted familiar, no one can touch him. The queen's contracted familiar? The yellow skirt girl stared wide-eyes with her big innocent face. Can I be your contracted familiar too then? Talk about leaving the demon princess in a dumbfounded state. Just now Huang Xiaoying was still stomping over in a steaming mood, now she's asking to be Bai Yan's familiar? What the heck? I want to be your contract familiar. I want to be with, not being able to say the last part, the maiden then shyly points her finger over to little Rice to indicate her meaning. Like thunder, it was little Rice's turn to be shocked. Visit my site on Translation if you wish to read ahead of public releases what's happening here. Isn't this woman supposed to be King's admirer? Why is this girl trying to marry me? No, I don't want a wife, especially this kind that's obviously lacking a vein in the brain. Turning to Bai Yan, little Rice looks up with pity like he's pleading her to not agree. Understanding his little friend's meaning, Bai Yan decides to get to the bottom of this first. So the purpose of your visit today is to make a contract with me? Of course not. Huang Xiaoying exclaims out of the blue, it's that fox Jun Ruqing. She told me that the woman brought back by His Majesty is a cheating swine that is unworthy of the post. The king is so wise and powerful, he deserves only the best. That's why I came over to see for myself, to see if the woman is worthy. Well? Bai Yan raises her eyebrow inquisitively, awaiting the answer. But I didn't think, the love-struck maiden begun fidgeting again with her skirt, that I would fall in love at first sight. I want to marry this white tiger. That did it. With his fur erected from discomfort, little Rice wanted to make a run for it right here and then. This woman really took a liking to me. Can you contract me as well? Huang Shaoying looks straight into Bai Yan's eye and pleads directly, after you contract me, the whole tiger clan is yours. I will steal all of the treasures my father saved and give it to you. Oh my, this is a girl that only knows how to scam her old man. No, firm and unyielding, Bai Yan stands her ground. Why? Because little Rice is not willing. Indeed, Bai Yan's reason for rejecting Huang Shaoying's request was because of the baby tiger's unwillingness. There's no way she could hurt her little friend's heart for the sake of an outsider. And sure enough, this precise answer quickly calms the feline's heart. You mean, as long as he agrees then I can become your contracted familiar? Huang Shaoying's eyes lit up, her cheeks blushing as well now while she asked. Report broken chapters.